Cup.
One more time. 1, 2, 3.
Cup.
Why
Okay,
cup?
sick. Why can't I have a cup in front of me?
Okay.
Also, I love Cuphead. Okay, here we go. Edit that in, Mr. Edit Man. All right. Let's begin. Here we go. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Pro Crastinators podcast. I am the best guy ever, and today we're joined by Lethal Aurora May.
Yeah, I'm first.
The first is the worst, unfortunately for you.
But
Tom
you're
Oliver.
usually the first.
I'll fight you.
First is the worst. Them's fighting herds. The great indie game by Main 6.
Oh, they
Second
finally
is the
released
best.
it.
Confirming MLP Return to Glory.
Yes.
And Hypocrite is third. How absurd.
You want to go? You want to go out, take this outside? You want a picnic out on the grass? I'll take you. It's my treat.
Oh shit!
It's like the night.
That sounds delightful.
Damn.
Please.
How dare you say that to my face? Everybody, let's get right into it. Today's PCP is brought to you by my burning rage, aka fighting. That's
AKA
what the topic
virginity.
is.
That's the topic for today, everybody.
That's right. My deep frustration at the female gender for not condescending to have sex with me. That is, and I will fight them for this. Fighting, everyone. Fighting. Where is it? Why is it? What could it be?
You're the worst.
You're
You're so bad at introing topics that you didn't
This
think.
is
What?
good. This is the
Aren't
real
we
shit.
Where
supposed
is
to,
fighting? What do you mean, where is fighting? Let's
Where
fight about
is
this
it?
right
Why
now.
is
Where did it go? Why is fighting not a thing we can just do in society?
It sounds
now?
like
why
you
are we
wanna
all
fight
trying
about
to be fucking
Guys,
civilized
guys,
and
guys,
advanced?
Weren't we supposed to address like the previous episode thingy segment, or do we do it?
Oh, actually, that happens after like our main section here.
Aw.
We do the whole big topic, and
Well,
then we
now
do
I
that.
have
at the
to
end.
remember
Is there
for,
is there
like,
something
an
special
hour.
you want to mention though? We could do.
Yes.
There's something important you want to bring up. Yeah.
Yeah,
what's
because
up?
I was contacted by a concerned Lithuanian because of the last episode, and he was concerned that I painted a poor image of Lithuania. And
What do you mean poor? It sounds like Fallout 4.
Sounds like the coolest place
radioactive,
ever.
awesome.
I just want to clarify that was
I'm picturing Mad Max basically, like Mad Max Lithuania.
I haven't seen Mad Max, so I can't confirm.
Okay.
But
The people can use their imaginations.
yeah, but, like I just keep in mind that was back when I was a little kid, and I was born just a year after Lithuania got its independence. So it was kind of a little bit in chaos, and I'm not sure. Maybe in the capital it was better than it was where I lived. But those experiences, that's how I lived. I lived in a poor family in a poor neighborhood, and that was my experience. However, I want to make note that like today, Lithuania has done a lot of work to be a lot more presentable, and it's all pretty and nice, and even where I live now, it's like super nice. And I even see tourists. That's so weird. Tourists
Imagine that.
in my little town. That's so weird. Yeah.
This was before
They came to see all the fighting. That's what they came to see.
Yeah,
Yes.
they wanted to see the roaming gangs. This is before Mage, quote unquote, painted the town purple, if
Right.
you will.
I was going to
When,
say,
you know.
the Lithuania
Yeah.
was independent, and then its new savior was born to bring it into
That's
a
right.
new age of purple and greatness.
The Lithuanian warrior who would bring the super predators to heel.
The
like Hillary.
violent violence, if you will, coming in to fucking quell the rebels.
Oh my god, the violent violence. Dude, that's fighting. Fighting, guys,
Yes.
is real. And here it is. What is fighting? I'm going to tell you. In some countries, such as South Korea, fighting is used as words of cheer. The meaning of fighting is similar to the meaning of let's go or do your best or good luck. Oh my god.
fight on.
This is like...
What?
You ever see an anime when, like, you'll see, like, sexy anime girls will, like, be cheering on their friends and they'll go, fight all! Fight all! I think that just means, like, do your best.
Do some work.
Urban Dictionary, this is actually the worst definition you've ever forced me to read.
I'm gonna
by tricking
beat the
me.
shit out of this
Forced
math
you.
homework.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
it beats you
definitely-
up, and it's holding a
Here's
gun
a better
to your
one.
head.
Here's a better one. Definition 2, fighting. Physical contact, or in other cases, arguing or disagreeing with others, including teammates, like dance groups, soccer
What
clubs.
the fuck?
Why
In it
specifically
Seimei?
that?
I don't know why it brought these up.
It's
What the fuck is
this is such a weird way to put it.
Physical
Like,
contact
yes,
is
fighting is
fighting.
like a disagreement between human beings, such as dance groups.
Yeah, such as are you aware of these types of groups of human beings, such as
really
dance groups?
Big fan of like fucking
dance
off movies or something, and they're just like, yeah.
Okay, it's like Bring It On. It's like Bring It On or something. Yeah, I mean, okay. This is clearly
a teenage girls write fucking entries on Urban Dictionary. That's a little too urban for me, man.
All right, I want to start.
Okay, go for it.
I want to start by saying the fights that I've had in my youth and adult life, which are innumerable. I kill everyone I see. No, it's actually I've never really had a proper fight. I've been in lots of little boy scuffles in the playground where you sort of push each other and sort of grab at things, but you don't really do anything, and kick. But I've never punched someone in the jaw like a good old fisticuffs, except for that one time Devu asked us all to do that to him. For a meme at RadCon. And I was like...
One of the most uncomfortable moments of my entire life. I remember that.
The way I saw it was like, oh, Devu, are you sure? Because I want to do that. Not because it's you, but because I just want to know what it feels like to really punch someone in the jaw. And he was like, yeah, go on, do it. And I'm like, all right, this is going to be cool. And I did it. And now I know what it means to be a fighter. Well, now I'm a fucking UFC champion.
How hard did you hit him?
I didn't go, as hard as I possibly could, because...
You did not clean his clock?
No, I didn't actually want to hurt him, but, I wanted to make him, because he was saying explicitly...
I wanted to make him regret this decision, though.
he explicitly said, no, as hard as you can. I'm like, all right, I'll hit you hard, then. I will hit you hard.
Well, that's because he's a madman, yeah.
And so I put pretty, I've never punched someone, so I don't know whether it was actually a strong punch or not. Probably wasn't.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's
Did
my
it feel
my
satisfactory?
fighting.
Was your curiosity sated by this blow?
I mean,
or do you crave more bloodshed?
Yeah, do you want
did it awaken the beast within?
You know what it did, and I punch everyone in the chin every single day.
Handshakes are just too beta now. It's a punch in the jaw. That's how you say hi.
I distinctly remember that, and Devu asked me to do. I mean, everyone who was there did RadCon too. I gave him the lightest of taps because it was just such a strange situation to be in. But anyway, getting away from that. I also have never ever been in a proper fight. Though when I was young, I took a handful of karate classes. I'm pretty sure I did that. I might even be wrong. No, I'm pretty sure I did. I went there and we grappled a little bit. I mean, because I was really young when I did it, like 10 maybe or
I
something.
can remember 10 years old. 10 years old was when I started my Pokemon journey, and I've never stopped ever since.
I do remember playing Pokemon. I remember this made me want to fight. I remember the deep frustration I had at not being able to figure out how to leave the first house in Pokemon Red, because you have to walk down on the carpet on the bottom of the house. Why the hell would that mean you have to leave? And to that day, I've hated Pokemon forever.
Well, I mean, you're retarded. That took me all of 15 seconds to figure out.
Well, fuck you. It didn't make any sense.
I know the feeling because I think I made that mistake as well in Pokemon Blue.
Bad conveyance. That's what it was.
Get out of here, Ego Raptor.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. I went to karate classes. I played Pokemon at the karate classes. I went there all the time. We did sparring. It was cool, and I fought, and it was sick, and it was with pads and stuff. I got into one fight in school, and it was the I didn't get to hit anybody, but I did have an awesome shonen anime moment.
Ooh.
So the reason there was backstory to this fight is that there was this kid who constantly picked on me and gave me shit, and I was like a fat tubby beta bitch back in the day.
Okay.
So I would just fucking roll over and let this guy steamroll over me, and it pissed me off more and more. And this went on for 2 or 3 years. He would steal all my stuff and all this crazy shit. And then one day, just in gym class, I forget something happened, something snapped, and we got into a legitimate fight. And I just got up in his face and dude, just fucking leave me alone. I'm sick of this shit. And he just cold cocked me right in the face. And fucking my lips started bleeding and everything. And it was everything froze for a second and everybody stopped. And I just stood there totally unfazed by his blow and just wiped the blood away. And then he immediately ran. Fucking bolted. And so he was much faster than me, so I could not catch up to him. But
he ran. Cool. I thought you ran.
No. Fuck that.
Okay.
I was ready to fucking lay this guy out because I'm a big fat guy, so I'm twice his size, but he's twice as fast. So I'm trying to chase after him, and he's running away. And then the gym teacher breaks us up right as I'm about to lay into him because he got to the door and was too scared to open the door, and I was about to fucking unload. And then we got sent to the principal's office, and I got suspended, too, for getting punched in the face.
That's so strange the way that works. That seems to be, like, how it works. Like, when there's a fight, they suspend both people, even if one, like, is the obvious aggressor. I guess it's because they think you're a fucking pussy. I mean, I don't actually know.
That's never happened to me.
Want to hear something funny?
Yes.
Okay, so like in my childhood, there was a kid that I would fight a lot with, and he was a chubby boy as well, and his name was Tom.
Oh.
And it's just
oh my god!
You cold cocked me in gym class, Mage.
No, he
and then you ran away to Lithuania. This is what
happened. It was a purple blur.
I never knew.
Deplore. I was a boy then, apparently as well.
Jesus. Damn. Well, that's fascinating.
We've had trans representation on the PCP this entire time. Mate, I'm so sorry.
That's true.
For all of our horrible comments.
Well, I'm a trans anime girl, but beyond that, like, Tom, did you? So, like, do you remember at all what sparked that? Like, what finally made him hit you?
I think it was just some stupid like bullshit about whatever we were doing in gym class. But it was like it was just like a thinly veiled excuse for everything that had been building up over these last 2 or 3 years to finally
the straw that broke the camel's back.
Correct. So that's how it happened. And
you know what? That is you know that it's very interesting. There was a similar story that it did not happen to me, but happened to one of my close friends. Let's call him Rocket. I've decided I want to start not saying people's actual names.
Okay,
so I'm going to call this guy
Rocket Raccoon was your buddy.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
So Rocket here. There was this guy. We were, this was a freshman year in college, as I recall, and I got to know this guy like halfway through freshman year, and we became great friends. But like later on in freshman year, there was this guy. I believe his name. I'm going to say his name. I believe his name was Rishi.
Whoa.
He was he's like an Indian name or something. I don't quite remember, but
like
it was something like that.
Sorry.
Rishi, and so this guy was just like an IRL shit poster who would do things like. You'd like be getting food with the guy, and he'd say something. He'd be like, "Oh man, I really want like vanilla ice cream," and you'd be like, "Oh, yeah, I really like vanilla." He'd be like, "Haha, I hate vanilla. It sucks. It's shit. Got you." And then you're like, "Oh,
what?
Okay." Now it was things along that line. Like he would simply like just say falsehoods and then catch you in believing his lies. Just very mundane things like that. And I guess it gave him some sort of jolly, some sort of thrill. But so the point is just like he did this like for the whole year. He lived on the same floor as Rocket, and Rocket is this short, a Jewish kid, whatever, like good friend of mine. But the thing is, he had done Krav Maga. I believe it was Krav Maga. I might just be saying that because he's Jewish, but I'm pretty sure it was Krav Maga.
What is that?
And so he knew his shit. He knew how to handle himself.
What's that though?
Oh, Krav Maga is like the Israeli martial art they do that like the army gets trained.
Whoa.
So it's serious shit. It's like this is how Gal Gadot took out those Palestinian children. Krav Maga. So we're talking about some serious shonen shit.
All right.
And so one day, Rishi, just for whatever reason to be the hilarious madman that he was, simply stood in front of Rocket's door with his hands like across, like blocking the door, and just said, "Haha, you can't come into your room." Like Rocket's room, Rishi, who did not live with him, was just standing there saying, "You can't come into your room." And Rocket is a small, calm, peaceful creature, but at this something snapped at this moment. He had simply had enough. So my boy Rocket just calmly lifts his fucking leg, twists himself sideways, and just fucking donkey kicks him right in the fucking chest and sends him hurtling across the fucking room, crashing into a pile on the other side of the fucking room, and has vacated the doorway now.
Legendary. That's how you handle problems.
That's how you handle fucking people giving you shit. And so Rishi just stands up and goes, "What the fuck, dude?" and then just runs away. And and that's what it was. That's what happened.
That kind of leads me into something I wanted to bring up, and kind of
you're a hero, Rocket. But go on, Tom.
The main reasons I decided to be on this episode. Do you think? Because I think that we have unjustly banished fighting from our culture. I think
absolutely.
I think there's just something primal in us that like physical conflict can solve problems and strengthen bonds and clear things up quickly and efficiently through physical combat. And I think exercising that for more sophisticated means of conflict resolution has made us worse as a species.
Yeah,
In
I
general,
definitely
I think
agree.
I agree.
I disagree.
I definitely. I feel
you know,
like...
You know what's interesting,
right,
Mage? I was going to say, I bet this issue is a very male-female divide.
I'm
not saying everybody on one side.
I kind of agree with that, Nate. It is just the way the brains work and stuff.
I feel like there is definitely male bonding that I've never truly experienced.
Yeah,
by
like
beating the
females
shit
don't
out
bond
of
over
somebody.
that.
And
in
then
general,
coming to resolution. I think we're all gonna have to fight at RadCon 4. Well, that's how we're gonna strengthen our bonds.
Mage versus the world.
I felt this for a while. In the way that, yes, it is more of like a female thing to not use violence, but people are like generally scared of violence because, you could get a medical bill if you get hurt badly, and it's like, I don't want to be responsible for that, I could go to jail. But it's like, it's turned like most men into like weak soy boy pussies who don't do anything. Like they're like, not to make fun of
we are
women.
not immune from this. We are just as guilty.
No,
we don't fight
like
either.
not to like belittle women necessarily. It is just not that women are weak in the way that they don't fight, but like fighting does like, I don't know. There's something
like a biological
primal.
Yeah, there's a biological reason that like
it's
men for some reason
preservation.
want to fight.
Males used to fight for dominance, for attention, whatever. Females have to preserve themselves because they bear children, and harm to them, harm to the whole, species.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we're
and
pissing
it's
off
like
a lot of people right
men.
now. But
but like men, they fight like that, and they communicate through physical violence and grandstanding and being like, look at me, I've got rippled abs and giant penis, and I'm really tall, and I'm gonna smush you.
Yeah,
like that communicates so much.
We gotta get back to the ancient Greeks. We gotta just strip naked and go into the arena.
But like,
but
what I'm getting at is like, men aren't as good at expressing emotions in other ways with like speech.
It's why a lot of animes, a lot of guys just, fight it out and then become best friends.
Yeah.
Exactly. That speaks to something inherent in our brains.
And it's not like every man has to be like that, but every man at the moment is like forced to be like that, because if you do anything, you're going to jail, and nobody wants that, so nobody ever risks anything. And it's fuck.
You know what it is? There's been a trend these days, and this is a real fact. It's a real fact that these days women do much better than men in like the school system.
Oh,
and the theory.
I was having
at least
a similar
in America.
conversation with a friend about this. Yeah.
Yeah, and like the reason that people bring up a lot, and this has been said a lot, but that we have sort of catered our educational system to cater to girls, because girls are more peaceful, they are like more calm,
Quote,
they learn
the model student.
Model student, and then they say
orders.
Boys are treated as defective girls.
Yeah,
I
feel like you watched the same videos I did.
Probably. I've seen quite a few about this.
Well, I mean, like, even, like, back in, like, the 80s and shit, if you got into a fight at school, like, the gym teacher would ref it, and then you just fucking hash it out, and then when you were done, like, you just parted ways, like,
Well,
like,
you know what it is?
That's how shit used to get settled, man.
It's also...
that's the thing.
It's also the helicopter parents as well, like, they don't want their kids to get hurt.
Right. That's exactly what I was going to say. It's just, it seems to me, it's a risk aversion that I think is the main, like, driving factor here. It's that, like, if you're, like, the baby boomer generation was a generation that had, they had, like, 1 million siblings, and that was, like, right after World War II, and those guys were, like, the times hadn't changed yet, but with the baby boomer generation, with, like, all the civil rights stuff happening, and, like, the way the world's changing, and everything's becoming, like, safer and more, like, organized and neat, I feel like the baby boomer generations, because this is definitely my experience with my parents, or maybe it's just the world, like the way the media has changed things, the way we're aware of so much stuff that's happened. For example, like child, like kidnapping, like rape, molestation, all that stuff has plummeted, and yet concern from parents is at an all-time high, and like parents don't want their kids to go outside alone. It feels like
it's bigger than ever because we get more coverage for the small events that do happen.
Exactly. And just and the same way that this gives us a blind spot with stuff like that, like you'd be very safe, much safer than you've ever been in history, to let your kids play outside even at a young age. But like we don't perceive it that way exactly because we hear more about the times it does happen.
Like I said last episode, I'll just quick. Like I said last episode, when I was like 6 years old, and I was allowed to go play alone in the neighborhood, even though, as I said,
a toxic dump.
Yeah, as I said, like the neighborhood was terrible with like lots of terrible people, but I wasn't looked after. But like nowadays, my sister has a child that's my nephew, and she probably wouldn't let him go play without supervision, even though the neighborhood is very small and very easily monitored. And
the weird thing is, though, like if you are the one parent who like breaks this trend and decides to let their kid run around outside, like in America, you get fucking arrested for like neglect or something. It's the whole culture is shifting in a huge way.
The thing, it's the same as like letting your kids like fall over and graze their knees or like bruise themselves or and do all this sort of stuff. You're supposed to let them, catch colds and run around in mud occasionally, not all the time. You're not supposed to encourage it, but like if you let them make mistakes like that, they then learn by themselves instead of being told,
and build up
you can't go outside in the woods. It's full of bugs and bugs are scary and you are scared of bugs. And then it ends up with people my age are like they're so sheltered that they like ew, a bug. I can't deal with. I mean, I know people can't deal with bugs, but like so many people can't deal with any bugs in any capacity. And I'm like, you are an adult and you are a handful.
Scare my friends with them.
It's like we have a bunch of adults who are like need babying. They are a handful, and I can't imagine people getting along with them.
Yeah. And you know what? This reminds me, I think the real problem here is utopian thinking. And it reminds me of like my current like favorite phrase in the world. It's a popular one, but it's still my favorite. It's the perfect is the enemy of the good. And this is what, like, society, I think we would all agree, would be better off if we are a little bit less helicopter parenty over our kids. But the thing is, though, if you are less helicopter parenty, and you are the 1 in a million parent who gets your child kidnapped and, like, killed or whatever, then, like, even if, on a utilitarian perspective, that the greater good has gained more than has been lost by this one child who was just, by freak coincidence, happened to be the one who was kidnapped and, like, destroyed, fucking destroyed in a game of Pokemon Smash. Then you'll feel like, Pokemon oh no, Smash. Like this was a huge mistake what I have done. And it's risk aversion. That's why I keep saying that. And like our perfect society, everyone wants like the utopia where no one's ever hurt, everyone's perfect all the time. We all grow up into perfect people and there's never any suffering. But that's not real life. Suffering is an inevitable, unescapable part of being a human. I think, and we need to be exposed to it to toughen us the fuck up.
The thing is, though, a lot of these laws and enforcements of this sort of behavior is because people look at, like, the worst case scenarios, and if we're even more lenient, then the people who are actually terrible to their children and stuff would get away with it. And that's what we're trying to prevent, but in doing so, we're also enforcing the sort of helicopter parenting.
It's kind of sad because like because like we're trying to prepare kids for a perfect world. You want to give them that perfect world. You want to give them that perfect life. And because you're sculpting them for this like kind of utopian life, they're too frail to deal with what actually is. But if you prepare them for what actually is a world where like you're gonna get hurt and you're gonna get fucked up, you're gonna be better equipped to deal with the world and you will have a better life. So like. It's counterintuitive, but like you gotta like let your kids know that shit's not gonna work out all the time.
You really do. It there's a fantastic episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation. I can't remember the name of it. It's one of the most famous. But the premise is just that I know this is fiction, but it's that Captain Picard gets to relive a moment in his life, one of his defining moments, where he got stabbed through the heart, and I mean he was saved because they live in the future and they had technology to save him. But he got his fucking heart stabbed, and he almost died. And like he goes back and he changes that history so that never happened. And what it did to him was it made him like much more of a pussy and like much less like he had never been exposed to that kind of danger and like overcome it. So he just was more of a pussy. And so he was like, instead of being like a fucking badass captain that everyone loves, a philosopher god king, he is like just some pussy researcher who like he has a fine life. But it's nowhere near as, like, amazing or as, like, beneficial to the world or the universe as, like, the Captain Picard that did exist who went through this, like... It was a dumb thing he did. He, like, fought a guy in a bar. He got fucking stabbed through the heart. And, like, if he had lived in the past, he would have died. But it's those experiences that made him, like, such a fucking badass. And, like, that's really just what we're talking about here. And it
I'm,
reminds me that... Oh, yeah, go on, go on.
Well, I'm absolutely convinced that if I grew up in a more, like, not necessarily a violent world, but like a world that allowed expression through physical stuff rather than speech, I would, like, be a much more confident, person in general, because as a shy boy, talking is always, like, my least favorite thing to do, but, like, action-wise, I'm always the sort of person who would, like, if there's something that everybody notices but nobody wants to do anything about it because they're like, I would be the one who just does the action to get things rolling. Like at the airport just recently, there was like a big old, when you go through security, you got all the trays and stuff, and they keep piling up, and I just like, I get involved, and I want this thing to move, not just for me but for everyone. I grab the empty trays and I stack them in the thing so that everybody can move along. And I'm just, I work it, like, I do more through my actions than I could ever do through my words, because I'm not a talkative person. Doing podcasts has turned me into somewhat of a talkative person, but in real life, I would rather be like, I would rather not be able to talk, It's the sort of like, I'm so much more physical. It doesn't come across at all in my YouTube work, obviously. But like, I'm so much more physical than I am vocal. And in a
Gibbs'
world
theme song is "Let's Get Physical." Little known fact.
But like,
it's true.
In a world where like I could, if a bully was fucking roughing me up and I couldn't like, there was no system in place to tell him off, or like if it wasn't scary for the bully to try and attack me because he doesn't want to get detention. I mean, obviously you would get in trouble if you try to fight someone, but like, there was never any like proper fighting or like resolving of conflict. It was all sort of, people yelling at me, and I'm like, I don't want to yell back because I don't do that. I would rather they punch me so that I can know for sure how they feel about me so that I can punch them. And I'm like, I would love that, but I never had any opportunity like that to like,
for you, the ideal world would be to be like that manga called Gon. Are you familiar with that one?
Yeah, the guy.
It has no words, and you're just a badass little dinosaur guy, just like going about world, kicking ass, and just being cool.
I mean, yeah, it's. I'm sure, like a lot of shy boys love shonen for this escapist fantasy.
That's
of
why I fucking loved it as a kid.
Doing violence
to
do, to do anything.
For me, it's a little difficult to really say either way, because like for my stories, you could tell I was a very extroverted, very sort of fight person.
Mage did fight people. She didn't fuck around.
Yeah,
violence.
I was very extroverted. Like I said, I greeted strangers. I fought with people when I needed to. I wasn't afraid of anything. But then I got a bully. And the thing is, up until that point, all my fights were more or less fair. It's usually one-on-one. Someone else maybe was watching, maybe not. It felt fair, win or lose. But with this bully, she wasn't, I think, my age, but she looked older due to makeup and clothes and stuff, and she always hung around with guys much older than her. Like, I was like 13 or so when I first met her, but the guys hanging around with her were like 18 or so, probably.
Okay.
Much taller, much bigger.
Was she fucking? Was she fucking him? I'm just curious.
I don't know, but she probably was, because why else would they hang around with her?
That's true.
Wow.
No, but seriously,
my fellow MGTOWs, hell yeah.
Again, it's a little hard to talk about this because it was a very defining part in my life. But yeah, it was never a fair fight. She always had them around, and she mentally harassed me, I guess, verbally abused me before fighting. But like, the thing is, I didn't have a chance to necessarily fight back. I did try once, but that didn't end well, and like, I was scared because those guys were around, and even if I were to defeat her, they're gonna beat me up. And she was never alone. And the thing is,
my guess is that I'm guessing those guys never actually beat you up, but it was that the threat was there.
Yeah, well, I was a little kid. I didn't know, and
I
fought with guys before. I never really had the mentality, they're not going to beat me up just because I'm a girl. Sure. I fought with everyone who would fight. So yeah, and the thing is, she wasn't in my school. She wasn't in my neighborhood. She was kind of like the neighborhood's, well, not even the neighborhood's, the town's boogeyman for me.
Sure.
I didn't know where she would pop up, but if she did, and if I was alone, I'm screwed. And even if I was with a friend, I couldn't really trust my friends to help me out, because the first and second time I met with her, I was with a friend, the same one as well. She wasn't really helpful, let's say. And because of her, because of this unfairness and injustice, I became very reclusive and shy, and I think because of her, in a way, because of the whole situation, started just avoiding outside and started being scared of people, strangers mostly. I became very self-conscious and just fearing people, and I became the weenie I am today.
That's very interesting. I mean, I can totally see why it would lead to that. I mean, for me, my experience was definitely more like Gibbs. I mean, I think here's an interesting phenomenon. They say that what's the generation after millennials? Gen Z? Is that what they call them? Right?
No idea.
Is that the right one?
The last generation before we all killed
the munchies, the Christ consciousness generation.
Yeah, whatever it is they call it. I think it's Gen Z, but the one after millennials. They say that generation is much more conservative. That's what they say, and I think I know why. I think that So, in America, the political landscape is divided in such a way that, the Democratic Party just kind of, owns a set of ideas, or rather, the liberal side of things, and then the more conservative, including the Republicans, I guess the Libertarians, and that sort of group, that encompasses, a different batch of ideals. And, going back to, so there was the greatest generation who fought in World War II, then there was the baby boomers who were their kids, our parents, and, the baby boomers were, the free love movement in response to, their hard-ass World War II fighting parents who were, the most badass people ever. And so, our parents became, they rebelled against that, and they felt no, man, it's all about, freedom and treating people, great, and everyone being equal, and all
and
this.
Everyone's a winner. Everyone gets a gold sticker.
Exactly, because their parents were such hard asses in this in the changing world of all this new technology, TV and radio, and all this. Well, radio had been around a while, but all this new stuff that was happening, and then our generation is the children, the millennials, the children of those baby boomers, and so most millennials were coddled without a doubt. We're the coddled ones who were raised by our caring and protective parents.
Yeah, and it's not just a normal generation switch where you rebel against the previous generation because it's just how it is. But with the internet coming in and connecting the world, it's sort of combined with people being soft, it just sort of made it so that there was no way to become tough. Because you could hide at home, and laws were passed when people bruised their knees or cut themselves on a piece of glass. No more glass in the city. What are you talking about? All these weird things are coming up, and it's if we had the capacity to rebel against our soft parents, we would have. But we got
You're
sort
kids,
of trapped.
You can't do shit. All you can do is become an adult, which is
all you can do is just sort of put on a balaclava and say Antifa and be a big old crazy throwing rocks, Molotov cocktails, but there's so much police. They're so big. They got truncheons and guns. What are you gonna do about it?
The problem is that
get us. They're gonna slice us in half. We're gonna die.
To me, the problem is seriously that we've involved the government in so much of what should just be private interactions.
Yeah, like small towns are now, worldwide.
States. It's fucking
crazy. And it's kind of just a natural consequence of globalization and just the increased reach of through fucking
it's just a psychological reaction to the fact that we're so hyper aware of all the minutia of bad that it feels like it's on our doorstep, even if it's half a world away.
That's for sure. But I think that the Generation Z or whatever it is after the millennials, those guys, and the reason they're conservative or getting more conservative,
because
I think,
their parents are all pussies and they hate it.
Yeah, they are the reactionary generation who have recognized the damage that's been done.
Mom, why are you so goddamn gay?
Yeah, why are you so gay, Mom? What the hell?
Mom and Mom.
It's just that, and it's that the right owns, the right just owns
guns,
the ideas of freedom and the ideas of personal responsibility. Those are just ideas that belong to the right in America, and because of that, the whole generation has been pulled in that direction. And you see that with the whole, like, I don't know, like the whole, like, anti-feminists on YouTube.
How did this
and
get political? We were just going to talk about fighting.
Well, it's all. It's all
fighting
relevant.
is.
I'm just talking about generational
politics
issues.
is all about fighting, but it's like the most boring kind without.
But speaking of politics being fighting,
I've been in so many fights, dude. I like quarter circle and Hadouken. So good. I'm the best fighter.
I was gonna say that's a good one too. But speaking of political being a fight, let's talk about like verbal online badass, urban warfare on Twitter fighting.
Before we do that, I want to say a very quick story because I didn't get to talk much about my fighting days this episode.
Okay.
A fun thing that happened that I had completely forgot, but I remembered for this episode that used to happen is like my neighborhood would have fights with another neighborhood, so it was kind of like
gang warfare.
Warfare.
The cop killers versus the rowdies.
The violence in her gang going against the fucking interlopers.
No,
the indigo interlopers.
Whoa! The violent violence versus the indigo interlopers.
Oh my God.
The war of purple. Which hue is best?
Fan art now. Get on it. Young mage with a fucking spiked baseball bat.
The fucking magenta mobsters.
Guys,
was there a leader of the opposition mage? Your indigo parallel?
I wasn't even the leader, guys. But
I don't believe you.
No,
I know you were.
Revisionist history. You were definitely the leader. Continue.
Yeah, okay.
Please.
I'm sorry, mage. Please.
I never really met the leader. I saw, I think our neighborhood won just because of
shadowy
the
figure.
neighbors. Because numbers we had. We had the numbers on our side. Their neighborhood was a lot smaller than ours, so we had more people. We still had fun with the fights. I barely got to participate because didn't want I was still I think 6 or 7 when they were going around and the fights were mostly between teenagers 14 and up. So I only got to participate in a few of them.
What kind of fights? Are we talking weapons or just fist fights? Or...
It was now I have to dig back in my memories. How was it?
Broken bottles.
They're just
a weapon
literally
of any
shooting
kind.
each other. No. Just fucking gunfights.
When the craze happened with the what do you call those pea shooters or something? Those guns.
Like a BB gun or something?
Yeah, I didn't own those, so I didn't participate in those. Those happened later.
But they used BB guns against each other?
Yeah, they used BB.
Dude!
Oh my God! This is sick.
That's pretty serious. All right.
Mage was literally in a shonen anime. This is insane.
But before that, I remember I was part in one where devised a plan. It was okay guys, you take this route and you guys take this route and we're gonna surround them and we're just gonna beat the shit out of them and they have people watching over there, so be careful, they'll see you coming, but they won't. So it was a lot of tactics for little kids. It was
and it's we'll lead them into our neighborhood's old Soviet minefield and we'll have a pin there.
The closest my life ever came to stuff like that was snowball fights, which is lame. I mean, it's kind of cool.
We're talking about how millennials are all fucking pussies, but Mage over here, 6 years old, was drafted into a conflict. Fucking
child
insane.
soldiers. She's the real child soldier. Fuck Munchie. It's Mage. It's fucking Mage.
We're not giving Mage enough credit. The violent violence is fucking on the prowl.
I just when I was young, the closest thing I had to anything like that was when I was at summer camp. I know I told the story last time, but my mom would roll up and she'd find me with dual wielding sticks and having pine cones in my belt as grenades and ready to fucking kill. I don't know what we would do. We would divide up into teams. This was at the YMCA summer camp in the woods. It was fucking sick. This is
instantly less impressive than Mages.
I know. We didn't even really fight. We just got geared up and then just felt cool. That's what we did.
Well, yeah,
and occasionally you
that
see
sounds
some
like the American
clash.
equivalent of fucking war-torn Lithuania.
Who wants to hear a story of how I got banished from my own neighborhood?
I do.
How is this possible?
Okay. So
their own leader.
My neighborhood. I wasn't the leader. Oh my God. My neighborhood.
That's what you say now.
My neighborhood got together to build a little base for itself, a little house or whatever, and they were building nearby my house because there was a really good spot, and it was sort of it wasn't necessarily.
When you say neighborhood, do you mean all the kids and teenagers from around?
It's
just
I can't really describe it. It's I live in this area that's it's sort of there's there's a group of houses, and they're kind of surrounded by streets or like the city centers or stuff like that. And it has its own little area that's kind of disconnected from other areas. So I call that the neighborhood. It wasn't like, blocks or whatever. Okay. It's a little hard to describe.
So like a cul-de-sac or something? Is it like
I don't know,
like a road, like one road that goes in
Grove
and out?
Street, home.
I guess kind of. It could maybe something like that. Whatever I can describe.
Similarly kind of like.
Okay.
I don't think it's anything equivalent to American layout of houses or whatever.
Okay, that's fine. But how did you get banished? I need to know.
So they came up with a group project for that little base and stuff, and they were building near my house, nearest to my house, and And the thing is that I was really excited about it because, I was sort of part of it and I was, very excited. Oh, hey, a base. It's neat. And the problem was, though, they were making a lot of noise. So I think it was my parents or someone living above, somewhere from my house, because we didn't own a house. We were living in an apartment. And they were sort of people, somewhere from that area complained and had all the progress sort of told them to take it down, but then for some reason the neighborhood kids, some of them got this idea that I was responsible for it. I complained to my parents or something. Rat. Yeah,
no.
Yeah, and they blamed me.
An adult informant.
And they blamed me for it, even though I was super excited about the whole project. And they were like, "You're not allowed to go into the neighborhood for a month, and if we see you, we're gonna beat you up." And
a month.
Oh my god!
Oh Jesus! All right.
So I had to sneak around to go see my friends and stuff.
So you still went? You risked it all?
Yeah,
Damn.
I wouldn't mind fighting the younger kids, but the teenagers were a bit tougher, especially since they never went around alone.
Fucking now this is Metal Gear Solid. This is a stealth game as well.
This is like the main character gets fucking ostracized arc of a shonen manga where it's just him against the world for a while. Mage is going through all the motions.
Someone you should definitely make a manga about your life.
My life.
That is a great idea.
It wasn't even all that exciting.
But you make it exciting for the narrative.
Yeah.
Mage, right now you're just hiding. You're in hiding, just being the hermit weeaboo. We're in the middle of a time skip. So in 2 or 3 years, the time skip's gonna end, and you're gonna come out of hiding more powerful than you ever were.
Well, Mage knows the Geneva boys, the fucking UN, will convict her for crimes against humanity if they find out that the leader of the Violent Violets is in fact still alive and not dead, as the Osama bin Laden ally that she is in real life. So she's got to lay low. I'm picturing you as Solid Snake, Violet, on top of Metal Gear Rex, shirtless, bare knuckle boxing Liquid Snake.
Yes.
Who's the indigo? What is it? Ingrate. The indigo ingrate. That's what his name is. That's what I'm calling him now.
Just like this mage with this long flowing purple bandana, the exact hexadecimal value.
Okay, since we're really since you guys seem to like this narrative, I'll tell you one more thing from the opposing. The neighborhood guys, people. This was before I went to school, and so when I started going to school, I had this classmate, and I had a crush on him, and it turns out he was from the opposing neighborhood.
Oh no! God! We're hitting all the beats.
Fuck. Dude, how did it go? What happened?
It didn't go well.
You had to kill him in the end.
He had to murder him.
I actually confessed to him that he liked another girl in the class that everyone liked. So.
Oh, but you nutted
so
up.
He had to
Way
die. To go. No, I'm just joking.
Now he's dead.
Hell yes. That's fucking awesome. Incredible. Fucking the Riders and Cop Killers, embarrassing. Not even real.
No.
The violets and the indigos.
Clearly not even. We have a whole untapped potential lore over here that we never touched on.
It's true.
We need a dramatic retelling of your entire childhood, Mage. I want a graphic novel on my desk on Monday. Monochromatic purple, start to finish, go.
Yeah, you should retool the bot that's in your Discord to make it to turn it into Endless War 2, but purple version.
Yes.
No.
The Violet Violence.
I don't like fighting anymore though.
That's so sad. But you need to be reawakened. Like you're like basically literally Unohana from Bleach, which I think is what Gibbs said last time. I know. But that's pretty much exactly it. You just need to reawaken your bloodlust.
No, I was gonna say she's more like Simone right now because she's had a traumatic experience that has made her sheltered, and she needs someone to come along and reawaken her vigor for life.
Fair enough.
I like drawing.
Just like Simone, like staying in his room and sculpting communists.
But we all know, Mage, because the things you draw are always like super creepy and bloody. We know what's really down deep inside.
There's a killer that lives. You just need some super sexy anime chick to come into your life and like worship you, and you'll feel so much better.
She needs a Kamina. A new Kamina. Kamina 2, aka Nia. All right. Anyway, hey. Let's talk about fighting on the internet with people who give you shit. No, that's good. But that's how most fighting is done in the world.
Can we talk about how that is not real
fighting
and it is gay and it is stupid?
Okay.
I want to say before we go on to that, just one little thing.
Sure.
I went to, I forgot to say this. I went to Taekwondo practice once, and I thought it was really lame. And I realized then that I don't care about, like, being able to fight. I just like being in danger. It's so cool to be in a dangerous situation, like to do something you're not allowed to do, to jump over a fence to get a ball when there's the possibility of a CCTV camera getting you, and then you're getting put in jail. And when you're a little kid, that's what you think is going to happen.
Doesn't that mean you thrive in our current society? Because literally everything has a risk of punishment now because everything's gated off.
I mean, not really, but like when I was young and I thought I would go, like there was this time a ball went over the school fence, and I was like. It was after school and the school was closed, and I jumped over it, even though I knew that there was a camera there and that I could get in trouble next day, and nothing happened. But I was like, nobody's gonna get this ball. Everyone's scared.
Forward,
but I'm the guy who would like silently do the cool thing, and then everybody would be like, "Whoa." That's why talking sucks. I like jumping over fences and punching people. I want to be a fucking gremlin. I want to be a fucking real life gremlin man, and I'm not allowed to, and it sucks.
You know. Speaking of Taekwondo, like going to a practice and sucking, like it's definitely true that like martial arts is so much about like the fundamentals that do not look cool, and fighting really, even like the coolest UFC matches look pretty basic and like not
they look
like anime, which is unfortunate. But like I've been watching a lot of Joe Rogan's podcast for the last couple years at this point, and like he's obviously a fighter, a trained fighter, and he still has like UFC people on all the time because that's one of his jobs to commentate or whatever. And it's given me an appreciation. I haven't watched like any of the fights other than like the really big ones of like CM Punk getting his ass handed to him, several times at this point. But it's just cool to hear an expert like him talk about it, and just on a technical level to describe like getting people into like fancy holds and arm bars and get their fucking neck in a chokehold or some shit. It's cool, and like I'm sure for like the people watching, it doesn't look that cool to just like watch two people like bob and weave and like kind of throw out a jab and then run away. But that's just like how a soccer game doesn't look cool until they like get a goal. But once you like understand it more, you get that like every little thing is like part of a grand plan to like conserve energy.
That's
only
my
you
problem,
spend like
dude.
as much
like,
as you need.
I watch so much anime that like when I watch UFC, it eventually just turns to a ground game, and it's two guys in like swim trunks like fucking each other. I'm just like,
so it's just too gay for you.
Yeah,
is the issue.
It's just like gay porn and not fighting.
I tried.
Like, where's the Dragon Ball Z?
I'm sure all the coolest things I've ever thought I've done looked terrible and like really cringy, but like the feeling of doing them was the main thing.
That's
like
the
I
feeling
like
of another man's
doing the
ball
dangerous
sack
thing
against my face when I'm in this.
The highest form of art is the male form.
Guys,
so
So did you all try to like take martial art classes?
I went for a while.
But yes.
I went to a Taekwondo class and I just didn't like it immediately and I left.
I got to like blue belt or something. I think
that's not bad, Tom.
Oh, that's cool, Tom. I only went to like one class. I don't even remember which martial art it was. But like it was in this sort of gym, so there were a lot of other activities other people were doing. I didn't like my class, so I just kind of pissed off to go lift weights because I like lifting weights.
That's what I've done now. That's what I've done. Yeah,
it's a lot easier.
I just give it like if someone's gonna kill me, then I like what am I gonna do? If like all you need is a gun and any amount of martial arts training I've got. I mean, yes, you could like be smart and like fucking maybe just disarm them or something.
My dad is like a trained fighter. Like he's like knows all this crazy shit, and he's just like martial arts is great, but at the end of the day, like you really have to know how to like a street fight is totally different, and all the like forms and katas and shit you learn don't
like,
really mean dick.
The
like
fact,
you have to know how to fight for real.
Sure.
The fact that like policemen can fail to like stop a guy from getting them, even though they have a gun, is just sort of like, or like even if they're like trained in martial arts or like hand to hand something or other.
Policemen have very low standards for like physical combat, which is why they go straight to the gun like every time, which is
maybe
unfortunate.
In America, I don't know how it is.
Yeah, okay. I mean, in America we have lots of guns, so it's different from
Yeah, there's no guns in the UK except for like special types of policemen who are allowed to have them.
Really? So even your normal policemen normally don't have guns?
I think they have like stun things and batons and whatever.
They have
like
batons.
Pathetic.
But like they're trained to use their hands and to say stop,
that's
stop
great.
doing that. Really,
I mean, that's
loud.
how it should be. You'd think.
Yeah.
Do you think? I don't want to.
Well, I mean, okay. If you're like Robin,
I retract my statement. You're right. Let's move on.
Okay, fine. Twitter is lame. Twitter is dumb. Everything that happens on there is a waste of time and a problem. Do you want to know why Twitter's a problem? Why it's gay? Why it's dumb? It's because all of us have this urge to settle our conflicts physically, and we can't. So this is how we get it out of our system inefficiently and pathetically. I definitely agree with that. But I was also going to say that I don't think Twitter, like when you're man to man with someone, you're a face to fucking face, and you've got a grievance. Like, all I'm just gonna say is that, like, it's so different than, like, tweeting with somebody person, back and forth.
There is a threat of physical violence. There's no threat of physical repercussions on Twitter. You can say whatever you want,
it's because of this.
You can go have your coffee, and nobody gives a shit.
Because Twitter is so Twitter is consequence-free. Things can really snowball, and, like, they can get way out of proportion, and especially because the fucking media, and, like, I get why, but people take tweets as like gospel, and they like if you use a word on Twitter that's offensive or whatever, like I don't know, faggot, then like, oh well, now you are officially a homophobe because you use the word faggot on Twitter. And like maybe you are a homophobe, maybe you're not, but like Twitter shouldn't be the arbiter of whether you are or not.
Agreed.
And like I hate that we use Twitter as like it's like the official. It's like we treat someone's Twitter the same as we treat like a published book they've written. They're like equally valid a representation of like the arguments of this person, and that
what it is.
It's all part of this problem.
Being a homophobe is only like. I mean, I don't think being a homophobe is illegal at all. So like the only thing that people have to like leverage that, like,
social shame.
I don't like homophobes. Like, what can they do? They can't punch you because everyone's a fucking pussy on Twitter. Nobody's going to actually beat you up.
The actions are illegal, but the stance, the personal thoughts in your head so far have yet to become illegal.
So far.
There's a lot of thought policing been going on. So,
but like since people can't like, if somebody says yes, I think because I'm maybe I'm a Christian and I think gay people are wrong. Like that guy. Everybody he's saying it outright, and people are like, "Oh, I hate that guy. He's a homophobe. What can I do to fuck with him? I can't punch him. I can't like physically do anything.
You fucking don't shop at his place. That's what you do."
Well, yes, that of course, but like people don't do that. They sit on Twitter and try to ruin people's lives in other ways.
Yeah. Well, like for example, like that guy, the gay wedding cake guy.
They have like an urge to fight, but they have no way to actually relieve the stress.
Right.
Like,
so your first reaction in your body is to physically lash out when you see something that enrages you. Like how many times have you gotten a really retarded comment and your first reaction is like, I just want to lay this person out. That's just it's biologically ingrained in us. That, like,
I mean that's true.
You just want to punch and shit, dude.
We have to appear to our better angels and recognize that like when you get a really mean comment, it's more than likely this person was at their worst when they wrote that comment. Right. And I mean, it's just to your benefit to try not to flip out and like remain calm.
But what I was getting at is that people they're lobbying. No, not lobbying. I don't know the word, but like they're trying to get like more and more restrictions put on what people can say, so that they're making things more and more illegal. For like
because
less
people
and less
think the fucking government should dictate personal interaction instead of just like.
Well, it's
if you
not
don't
just
like
that.
the guy, don't shop at his place.
They want to be able to ruin this person's life for doing this thing that makes them upset because they can't fight them, so they have to make it illegal.
But
somehow.
Of course, the tools.
And it's like
sorry.
The more it just leads to like where does the line get drawn for like what a person
and that's the
can
problem
be
because
before
these people's
they're thrown in
goals-
jail at birth.
Yeah, and like when you make speech like fucking criminalized or whatever, like okay, we've outlawed saying like racist stuff. So like you can't say that like I hate all Hispanics, like that is like racist or something. Okay, but apparently it is legally acceptable to say like I hate all white people, and it's like okay, now logically speaking that doesn't make sense why you can do that. But it seems to be sort of it's just like okay, if the government institutes a policy where like you can't discriminate based on race to stop people from being racist to Hispanics, then like let's assume a right-wing government takes over later. Well, now you've given them the ability, especially if you ignored that previous thing about like you didn't criminalize when people said that like white people are all bad or whatever. Like now you've put a system in place where like the attorney or whatever, the district attorney or whatever, can like choose to now we can criminalize people who say they hate all white people, and let's just let off people who say they hate all Hispanics. Like the problem is that we've put any of these rules into place. You just need to let people sort out amongst themselves, and that's exactly what the Supreme Court itself said when they just fucking put that decision down, and they said that guy who didn't, the serious Christian who didn't want to make that wedding cake for the gay couple or whatever, they could not compel him to make that cake. And damn right, because fuck no, that would be such a fucked up precedent.
About that
you have
case.
to force people to do shit like that.
Now, this could be just a rumor. I don't remember where I heard this, but these people who asked for the cake, they deliberately went around every single cake shop, looking for someone who would refuse them. So they were out looking for trouble rather than like.
That is interesting context as well.
No,
that complicates
I
it.
heard from Devu. Like I saw a video he posted. He was talking about this on Twitter a while ago, where the lady who was like being charged said that she knew the guy who asked for the cake, and like very well, and he was okay with it. But it was like one of his friends that made it a thing that became viral, and then everybody got outraged, and neither party. Like, the guy who tried to buy the cake and the person who was selling the cake, they were on good terms. But it's like, it blew up on the internet, and then she was, like, fucked over by the government. Which is the reason it's so fucking terrible. Even
assuming that's completely true, which I would believe that's true. I haven't looked it up myself. But, like, assuming that's all true, I don't even care. Because I totally believe you should, if you just are a sincere racist and you don't want to make cake for whatever race you hate, you 100% should be allowed to not do it because you just don't want to. Right. I see no reason to force people to do that.
Just as everyone else is allowed to think you're a fucking douchebag and you get all the social consequences
because
that come
what
with
you do is you tell everybody that he did that and then you stop shopping at his place.
And you know what? I would prefer a world where somebody could, like, punch you in the face for you being a bigot than go to jail over something that goes viral.
About the whole...
Because you know what going to jail does nothing to fix? It does not fix the person's racism at all. It doesn't do anything to fix it. Whereas if you punch the guy in the face and you have a man-to-man moment about like, oh shit, dude, I guess the Hispanics can punch good. I respect you now. Well,
then you maybe this person... It's not ever as simple as that. I mean something like...
but like
I just wanted to quickly say
so.
About the whole, not if you don't want to sell to these people, you're free to do. I think that only for like maybe personal businesses, like for like I don't know, like what do you guys have? Like we have Asda, you guys have like what sort of like
I'm not following.
Walmart.
Like a Walmart or something?
I don't think...
okay.
Asda is owned by Walmart,
Oh,
I think.
is it? Okay, well, now I know. Well, like, shops like that should, accommodate all people of all walks of life. I only, like...
I kind of disagree.
I mean,
I kind of disagree.
I would say that there should be no restrictions in place about that. But, like, obviously, if you are a supermarket and you don't let a certain amount of people in, that's a certain amount of customers you're not getting, and money runs everything. So, like, why would you not? There's no reason as a big corporation to, like, deny a certain group anything. And if you do, that's just less money for you. That's just all that it does.
A big corporation, and, like, you have these chain sort of, like, places and stuff like that, you're everywhere. Yeah. It's not just, one person having their own private little shop of their own private little things. So I think
I think it's the same thing, though. I feel like both the corporations and the personal people should be able to choose whether or not they sell to anyone.
You can definitely have a situation where, like, let's say a Walmart comes into, like, a small-ish town, and because Walmart can undercut the prices of all the mom-and-pop shops, like, they all go out of business. And let's say, like, they were all ruled, by fucking Mexican people, living in America or whatever. Mexican... historically, their ancestors. And, like, so all those shops close down. There's only Walmart. Oh, and by the way, Walmart refuses to sell to Mexican people. Like, I get why that's a problem. That makes sense to, like, be wary of. But what I would like is that the Mexican community or whatever makes their own grocery store that does sell to Mexican. And then they, like, because they're such a large population, they make all the money. I mean, hopefully.
It sounds like a terrible, like, idea to have, just Walmart that and only Mexicans can't eat. And it's like, well, what the fuck are we going to do?
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily possible for them to just suddenly make a rival supermarket chain.
Yeah,
but,
that's true.
like, in hypothetically... they would make that, and then they would get so much, like 100% of the Mexican profit from that area.
Right. It's just, when you think about what it means, like, what we're saying is, we are going to force people in businesses to do what the government tells them to do. And like, Walmart doesn't owe its customers anything. Walmart existing is a pure boon to you. Walmart could close down and leave today from anywhere it wants, and, like, they are 100% in their rights to do so. So, like, you're asking Walmart to basically, like, give you something it doesn't have to give you if you're, like, imposing this. And that's true of, like, every
Walmart
shop.
Is that you can't have one Walmart decide, I'm just not going to sell to Mexican people. Like, Walmart has a corporate policy that every Walmart has to abide by. So if Walmart decided tomorrow they're not going to sell to Mexicans, every Walmart would have to fucking abide by that.
Well,
and Walmart Corporation would not survive a move like that. Like, the backlash from social media would tank the entire company.
Capitalism has absolutely shown. The whole point of capitalism is to get as much money from as many people as possible. So it's a great engine to fight against that stuff.
And also imagine that Walmart tried, like, they said they had that policy, no Mexicans allowed, and then the entire country of Mexico is like, they can't build there anymore. That's like...
They just lost a country worth of revenue, if they
it's
do
like
that
it's just it makes no sense, and it doesn't seem like it would ever happen. But in the hypothetical that a company did decide to do that, I would let them. I wouldn't be like, I would hate them. I would think that was the stupidest and most horrible thing you could do. What the fuck? It would be all in the news. But, like, I don't think there should be a law that says you have to cater to every person.
That's what I think. That's what I think. And I'm totally for, I got no problem with any race or any social group or whatever. Sell to everybody. But if I really believe in a principled way in freedom, and I believe in, being consistent here, I think it is morally wrong to compel someone's labor at the point of a gun, as the state does.
By that same token, like, as much as I think it's stupid and retarded, I would say the exact same thing to, like, those small businesses that charge white people more for things to try and, like, redistribute wealth for, like, black communities and stuff. They're, like, small businesses
I wouldn't
that
shop
do
there.
that.
It just makes sense to not shop there.
Like, I'm not going to do it because, like, why would I shoot myself in the foot like that? But, like, you're free to do that. If you want to discriminate against me, that's fine, but I'm never going to buy your coffee.
I heard something on the news recently about, like, a business that, like, they had something like a reparations day, but, like, all it was they just collected money and then just, like, gave to, like, the local African American community. But, like, this was just their money. So, like, that's fine. That's no problem at all. They just wanted to give money to people. That's totally cool for whatever fucking thing they want to do.
Your money.
Yeah, exactly. I just believe in freedom, man. That's all. I mean, we're kind of on a huge tangent here. I forget how we got here, but
no, we're talking about Twitter fighting, dude. Fighting.
That's the problem right there.
Disagree with the whole. I mean, I believe in in the whole freedom and stuff like
Mage
that.
doesn't believe in freedom, guys.
I believe in freedom. I don't see a reason not to sell to a group of people things.
But Mage, you see what you're doing there is you're saying that you don't see a reason. You're imposing your thought process on other people by saying that because you don't see a reason, everyone should do what you think they should do.
No, I've never said that. I'm just saying
well, you're implying it. I'm explaining what that's implying.
No, I'm not. I want to say, and like this is a difficult topic, and I've yet to set my opinion in any which way. It's just, it doesn't sound right to me. So I'm just like, I agree. Mildly disagreeing, But I'm not agreeing.
It doesn't sound good to say.
I'm not agreeing with the opposite
doesn't.
side either. That's the thing. I'm just sort of like on the fence, I guess. I'm not sure.
I think the problem is that like to hold the position that we're talking about is letting the opportunity for horrible things to happen.
Oh yes,
and like that is the price you pay to be 100% free. Is like you have to give people the opportunity to do fucking terrible things, like offensive things, but they also get to reap all the rewards of doing those terrible things, which is to piss off everybody who's not a fucking retard.
I feel like there should be some sort of solution, like a middle ground, like a golden middle between these, but I can't find it.
The middle ground is the middle ground is that people have money, and the more people you are nice to, the more money you will get from your people buying stuff.
Yeah.
So like the more palatable you are, the more, open you are to anyone and everyone, the more money you'll make. So there's an incentive to be nice in a world where you can do that.
Still really.
Yeah, so that one would hope that is the compulsion. By the way, that is the compulsion that a lot of these huge companies like Walmart are absolutely driven by. Walmart wants to get money from everybody. So that's the policy they've adopted. Seems that way to me, anyway.
Anywho, let's move on.
Okay. Issues noted. All right. What else do we have to fucking say about fighting and shit? Why don't you just die if you fight me? That's what I have to say.
I don't want to punch you. I just want you to fall down. I've had like a number of like little boy fights, like when I was just, I didn't know how to, because people would, how kids, everyone's scared of actually doing anything when they're the same age, same height. They're not bullies, they're just being brats to each other, and they're like, they say mean things because they want you to do the first move, because then you're the one who gets in trouble. And I'm like, I don't have a diss track. I don't know how to say fuck you in any other way. Or, like, if I was a rapper, I would just say fuck you as my diss track, and then bam, wham, That's all it would be. It was just like, I just want to deck you, because that's all I need to say. And I didn't really, like, have, like, the gumption to do it a lot at school, but I would always like resort to shoves and like, being like a weirdo. I guess it was just like boy. I was a shovey boy. I was a weirdo. I would be like excessively violent at sports, like in soccer. Like I loved playing defense because I could kick people. I think I've said this a bunch of times. Like,
see, we're all looking for an outlet, dude. We all
there's
have
a darkness within us.
We need to bring back duels, but they just have to be non-lethal. We have to have, like,
dude,
on the book duels.
I'd love to slap a guy with a fucking glove and say, duel me right now. I challenge you to
a duel, and then there's, like, regulation for it. There's, like, a way that it's designed to be done, and we can just fucking throw down with people. And then it's decided
to be legal. Ooh, that's a good one.
Bring top hats.
Yes.
Radcon
4 duel.
Literal duels.
All right.
We should literally kill each other in the ring.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, Radcon 4 we should hire out like a wrestling ring and just do that.
Oh,
like
man.
PCP wrestling.
If we could have
Royal
some sort
Rumble
of IRL wrestling thing.
No,
like,
guys, you're missing the most. We need to have Radcon 4 be in Lithuania, in Mage's hometown, so we can join the violence
guys,
and fucking throw down.
Like I said, it's a lot nicer now.
Yeah,
we're gonna bring it back.
Tourists.
Yeah, we're gonna bomb it the fuck out, so we can bring back the
our
bad
arrival
Mac.
is gonna be the end of your time skip, and that's gonna be the next chapter in your manga.
Yeah, that's good.
When the B-cast
it's all nice. It's all nice and presentable now, but when we're there,
well,
things are gonna go down.
Yeah, you said you weren't much of a like a verbal fight boy. You wanted to get physical.
I would scowl and like want to kill them, and that's all I would do.
That's understandable. I was definitely more of a I was never good at it, and I would get really sweaty and nervous and uncomfortable whenever someone like dissed me via verbs as a young man, and still to this day. Like if somebody comes up to me and starts talking smack, I get a little hot under the collar when I realize the shit is going down, and now girls are watching, and I need to impress them with my responses. It's just like, I don't know. I've enjoyed those in history, and it feels really good when you're able to like bring a sick comeback like George Costanza and just like, defeat someone through a verbal confrontation like that. I like those. I enjoy those on the occasions they happen. but they were unfortunately rare.
Linguistic kill shot.
Guys,
that's right.
Yeah.
Speaking of stuff like that, what do you think about like the phrase "be the bigger man"? Like in terms of like not resorting to violence and just letting people shit on you.
The thing about being the bigger man is...
I've never really liked that.
It's useful up to a point. Like, because there is a time, if you just continue to be the bigger man forever, then you're just being a pussy, and you're letting people, like, steamroll you. So that's no good. Like, but the thing, I would argue that the idea of being the bigger man, like, we all recognize that at a certain point, like, if some dude, like, punches your sister... And you are the bigger man and don't like confront him. You're like, oh, he's not even worth it. Well, at that point, it's like, well, now you're just like being a bitch.
Being the bigger man is also it's like a subset of choosing your battles. It means don't swing wildly for no reason.
But sometimes you do swing. Sometimes it is appropriate.
But sometimes you gotta swing.
I was sort of taught that eventually because, like I said, I was the tallest kid around usually in my age group, so. You know, for me, like, for onlookers, it just looked like I was beating up little kids.
Sick.
Yeah, that's true. It's tough to be a big boy, because you always look like the bully in a situation. Yeah. And it's weird. It seems like there's a pattern of, like, small, skinny kids, like, bullying larger, generally fat kids. It seems like a pattern. And then, I don't know, maybe it's because, like, I don't know, I've seen this, like, there's that one famous video of, like, the skinny kid, like, bullying this, like, bigger, fatter, taller guy who's just like quiet and timid, and then he fucking like he picks him up and he like slams him on the ground because he just had enough finally.
Fucking legend.
And it's awesome.
I mean, the reason that happens is I'm sure is because like the young the small weak kid is too scared to actually fight the people
like
who
a small
are
dog.
like the real problem, so they go for the easier target. So it's like, it's easy to say someone's fat when they are fat.
Yep.
And that's what they do.
I have two more stories I can tell.
Okay, shoot.
Quickly, in the neighborhood, like, a lot of the fights, I noticed I would have, like, consensual. Like, it wasn't like no one was bullying anyone. We were just fighting because it was cool and fun, and we sort of picked fights with each other. You just wanted to fight. Yeah, kinda, yeah.
Literally a shonen
We were
anime.
not being, watched by any parents or anything, and fighting was a pastime, I guess. But anywho, like, I think we used to do, the guys of the neighborhood would pester the girls, but, like, this is sort of like... It was an agreement between us. It was like a silent agreement. We all knew this. We never really talked about this. But the guys would pester us. They would call us names, a specific name, actually. They called us tigers. I'll explain that later. And whenever they would do that, the girls would chase after the guys. And if they caught up to the guys, they would beat the guys up. And they would come back for more later. So, it's not like, we were bullying them or anything. They specifically sought us out to be beat up.
Damn, maybe it was like a fetish thing for them. They were into
and
it.
The reason
that opens up a lot of doors, Mage. I'm very
it's true.
That's
and the reason we got called tigers, it wasn't like it seemed a lot less weird than it does now. Because like in a way it was for them to tease us, but at the same time we sort of accepted the name, and whenever we would like hear that and like sort of like to signal that we're about to chase them, we would let out a growl. And
so you were literally a purple tiger.
Kinda, I guess. Yeah. Later on.
There's a character in One Piece who's called the Purple Tiger, Fujitora. I think you are that guy.
I don't know how
that's my
they
point.
Look like. But...
That's what I have to say.
Okay.
He's an old man who's blind.
Yes, that's me.
That's it. Yeah, sounds right. Sounds
about right, yeah. One of my friends got a different name later on because there was a TV series about, like, Xena Warrior Princess. And she could do, like, a similar kind of jump that she did, and also the noise she did, like the war cry thing. And because of that, she started being called Xena. The rest of us stayed just tigers.
That's pretty sick, dude.
Legend.
And the last...
That's so funny. Like, I just really like that. How young were you when you were doing that sort of stuff? Like 12?
It was definitely before 8. Because, like, around...
So, yeah, it's just sort of a really cute, like, kids running around saying tiger as like a known initiation of, like, let's play
Yeah,
fight.
like, let's play tag, and then you get to beat me up if I lose.
How do you say tiger in Lithuanian?
Tigras, but that's like the male version. So the the general version for the tiger, but we were called tigres. That's the plural of tiger for females.
Cool.
And
that's sick.
Like.
So next time we get to RadCon and May doesn't show up, we just gotta Skype her and be like, and just call her out, and she'll come running. And like 3 hours. 4 hours later, she'll be on the plane, and then in the middle of the night,
she
we'll all
won't be
just
on the
start
plane.
getting...
She'll jump.
Guys,
jump
like,
across the
you
ocean.
call me, and then you call me tiger, and I hang up, and then, like 12 hours later, you all get punched out of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. Just out of nowhere, the violence comes through town. Just fucking wrecks all our shit. All right. Good to know.
Yeah, I stopped fighting around 12, 13 years old, by the way. That's when I got bullied. Just for the reference. So all these fighting stories was roughly 10 or younger.
I see.
Yeah, one story, it was around the time I sort of stopped liking to fight. It was around 12 years old, I think. I think one of my last battles, I guess, so to speak.
Final battle.
Was in my friend's neighborhood. The friend was like... She was the daughter of my mom's friend, so we were friends just because our moms were friends, but she was like 6 years younger than me. And we were playing outside, and she got bullied by these group of guys. And so I stood up for her because, you know, she was a little kid, and they were like sort of my age, a little bit younger, I think, you know, 1 or 2 years off. So there were 3 of us girls and 3 of those guys, but those 2 girls just watched, thanks. And so it was supposed to be 1-on-1 with me and a guy, and I remember, you know, throwing punches, and he sort of blocked by doing like an X in front of him with his arms because he saw it in Dragon Ball Z. And I remember specifically, he said, "It's like, hey guys, this actually works," and I punched him in the gut while he was distracted.
Why? What? Oh, because he was blocking like too high.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, and then like because he kind of sort of moved his arms or something like that. I remember I punched him in the gut because he got distracted. So I was winning the fight, but then the other guys sort of started hitting me from behind. But they were all being a little bit chicken about it. They didn't like pile on top of me. They just like hit me and then like went back again so I wouldn't hit them. But
that's even worse. That's
I know,
worse
and
than just
I wasn't getting any sort of backup from my friend or her friend's friend.
I hope they're dead.
No, it's okay. But
disgusting.
But yeah, like I think I eventually did win the fight. I don't remember how, but I remember I won the fight. And then I told him to leave us alone, and I told my friend I'm going home. Well, her home because I was in her neighborhood. And as I was walking up the stairs, I started crying. Even though I won.
You did?
I did. I started crying.
Were you just... did it just hurt or something?
I was sort of frustrated, mostly because I won all that fight all by myself, and, you know, those girls didn't help me win any, you know, at all. They were just there watching. They didn't even go...
Betrayal.
They didn't even go ask for help from, like, our parents or anything. And, you know, it could have gotten a lot worse. I was happy I won, but I was mostly frustrated that I wasn't helped. But it was usually the case whenever I did fight, and I had friends with me. My friends never intervened, even though the guys would sometimes...
Bitches be trifling, man. Bitches be trifling.
But yeah,
well,
that's the last story.
What a world! What a life! What a life! And now it's over. And we've got a new anime life lying before us. Well, guys, I'm out of fucking stories. How about we just get to the next fucking
part? How about we just fucking fight right now?
We should just fight. I'm punching my microphone. Die. I'm killing you all.
Fucking idiot. I'm not his microphone.
All right, let's get the fuck out of here. Okay, so we're done with the main thing. That was good. It was good. So we're in our next little section here. Anything to say about our last episode? So everybody listening out there, when you're hearing this, so we recorded this 2 days after the last episode came out. And we did this, the way we changed the whole schedule was so that we have time to, like, look at the fucking comments of the last episode, see what people are saying, and just see if there's anything to be revisited with that little extra window. So, what the fuck was last week's episode? I can't even remember.
Childhood?
It was the one with
Childhood.
A lot of stuff.
That's the one. It was Childhood. Yes. Which I think everybody loved and was great.
Not a lot of people, because I think I saw a few people complaining because we had a lot of people on again, but...
That's true. I mean, we might be slightly overdoing it.
There were people who are saying that they like the fact that there's a rowdiness when there's a lot of people.
You can't please all of them, so I'm sorry if, people sometimes are going to have a few episodes where there's a lot of us, and sometimes we'll have episodes like this.
Well, you know what I would say, though? I would say that it's more accessible. Like, the people who are going to listen will listen anyway because they like the PCP, but we should cater to the possible outsider and do the thing that the outsider would like, because we've already entrapped the general reader. But it's bringing new audience members is the priority. You don't think so?
I mean, I agree that is a priority. I think that there's no reason to never do a big thing again, because clearly people do like that, and if we stop doing that, for the benefit of like the normie crowd coming in, then the people who did like that are just going to be pissed off and annoyed that we're not doing it anymore.
I like the idea that a few episodes are like, just 4 of us, and a few episodes are like, most of us.
I like the variety.
Exactly, the variety.
I like the randomness.
Never know PCP is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're getting.
True.
You never know whether it's got.
You know exactly what.
Well, I mean, if you're in the PCP fan Discord,
It's true. Give us your money.
PCP is like a box of chocolates. You never know whether it's too expensive or not, and you don't want to buy it really.
Hey, here's the thing. Here's a comment that somebody left. Itsumo Listless left this. This is mildly amusing. This guy says, "I got your Christian names here, fam." So this is in response to the whole middle name that you get to name if you're a Christian. Let's see. Nate, not a cog in the machine. Bestman. Good.
Yes.
Digi, played with sticks until 17, bro. Mage, Christianity is a fairy tale. Purple. Mage, purple. Or it was a fairy tale, whatever.
It is.
Ben, Daddy watched me on cameras.
I like
Sage.
that one the most.
Munchie, cartoons weren't cool until My Little Pony, Tiny Hats. Dad raised us to be happy, Devu. That's a strange one. And Hippo, school was fun, Crit.
Why is everyone you have your username sort of divided up, but mine has purple? I mean, I'm not complaining about the purple part, but you could have had
I don't know,
Lethal
dude.
Aurora at the end or something.
I guess because he would have had to start with Lethal and then put something Aurora Mage, and he wanted the Mage to be the first part.
No.
I don't know.
He split up someone else, oddly enough, as well.
Well, he split up the Devu weird, and then middle name Devu. I don't know.
Well, in either case, I'm not complaining about the purple. It's a good enough word to use for me. I just found it as weird.
Indeed. And instead of that was episode 111. I see the memes. I see the ones spammed in chat. They have been noted, observed, appreciated.
I kind of don't like that sometimes, because I feel like some people didn't give actual comments because they wrote a one comment.
Well, maybe,
instead.
but this is episode 111. If there was ever a time to spam that one in chat, it had to be this time.
What about the 1,111?
Well, we'll get there one of these days. That'll take 8 years, I think. Or is it 10 years? 10 years, actually, it'll take get there.
Hey, maybe the podcast will be over by then.
Maybe. It might be. We'll see. All right. I mean, I got nothing to say about that episode.
Yeah, let's just move on.
Let's move the fuck along.
Let's do questions.
It's time to do the questions, everybody. It's
Yeah.
time. Let me go to this old Twitter over here. All right, what do we got? Questions. Please give us a good fucking question. Here we go. At Captain Thought One asks, what's the cure for cynicism, my boys? That's a thought-provoking question.
Cure for cynicism.
Season 1 and 2 of My Little Pony. There you go, guys.
Oh, he's right. I'm
trying to think cynicism, in what sense?
Well, okay.
I think is that a nihilist sort of cynicism?
Yeah, I'm interpreting this the way that I understand it. But it's okay, let's say you've been watching anime for 1,000,000 years, and you get older, and you're like, anime isn't good anymore. How do you love anime again? Or insert media of your choice here.
I mean, according to Ratatouille, you gotta just go back to your past and remember why you started what you started. How did I get here? Why do I do anything?
You know what?
And then
you're
you
right.
gotta think about
that was the message of yesterday's new My Hero Academia. The fucking hypest moment ever is when...
Was it the manga or the anime episode?
It was the anime episode.
Okay. Well, why would happen? I actually read most of that.
Was it when the big guy jumped around and he smashed the guy and he said, "Fuck you, bitch," exactly, and then everyone was like, "Whoa, he's so strong." And that I agree.
Help me out, Tom. What happened? Because I've actually read most of that. Which episode was that?
This was the episode with the United States of Smash, when All Might has to remember his past and where he came from to fucking beat All for One. It was fucking.
Is that
sick.
Did he? So he just beat it's All for One, right?
Yeah, he just beat. That was the last episode.
That is like the best moment in the fucking series.
Dude, they animated it so well. Oh, damn. It was delicious. Oh, it was
I kind of want to watch My Hero Academia. Like I've read the manga mostly.
It's fucking great.
It's a lot of episodes.
It's like
I hear it's animated so well though that I kind of want to watch it just for that alone.
Have you watched any of it?
I've seen like a couple, like, what do they call it, Sakaburos, like that one moment where like Ice Fireman like snaps his fingers, there's some sparks and then like a big explosion of flame. It's like the best animated thing I've ever seen in my fucking life.
The whole show's like
so
that,
fucking
dude.
good.
Well,
it sounds incredible.
The anime is better than the manga. Like it is unquestionably a better experience.
Have you read the manga too?
Yes, I'm caught up.
Well, shit, dude. I mean, that's a pretty good fucking sell.
When are we going to start My Podcast Academia? Clearly
My Podcast Academia? Dude. No.
That can be the Tom show on the PCP.
Yeah, I guess
Tom will bring on people and talk about
me in on that. I
show.
wouldn't mind. I like Macadamia.
I can't wait to talk about how mediocre I find that show to be.
Well, I will hate you forever. We'll have to fight about it if that's the case.
We will fight about it.
Yes.
That's true.
I mean, I might be on that as well because I generally everything I see about My Hero Academia, I'm like,
That's pretty much how I feel, and I read like the whole thing.
I love
but
it.
the anime is just better. I mean, that's a plus.
The
That's
anime
a fucking
is
plus.
better.
Whatever. Enough about bullshit anime.
It doesn't meander. It's just like every fight is like.
Okay, well that's good.
Until you guys get like murdered for saying that the anime is better. I haven't read, so I'm
on record as talking about how mediocre I find the series overall, like mostly to be.
I mean, Nate, you're full of terrible opinions, so I'm not surprised there's another one on the table.
Yeah, fair enough. What else we got? I mean, here's a question for me, but we can put it at everybody. At Diploid39 just asks, Nate, I forgot, these are the pity questions on the Twitter, so this will be our last one. Hashtag AskPCP to at TP Crastinators. That's a Twitter, but just use the hashtag, whatever. Nate, how would you want the world to end? How would you want... Wait, didn't we answer that before? I think we did.
Did we?
I don't know.
A meteor smashing into the planet just blows the whole thing up. That's definitely what I would want, if I could just choose any of them. That's the coolest. Yeah, we definitely answered this before, but whatever. Maybe other people are here. Any other good ones? Frozen solid instantly in a block of ice. That's also a pretty good
death
one.
Of the universe. We should make it all the way to the end.
Oh, but that's like a slow, scary way to die. I'd rather just explode all at once in my face, and then it's over.
Think of how
actually, you know what?
Kind of heat death.
I would rather it blink out of existence, and I feel no pain. Then it doesn't matter. That's what I want.
If it's a heat death of the universe, it's not going to be our problem.
I mean, yeah. But like the reality of the heat death of the universe happening would be
like
far
beyond
slowly
Starfleet
but surely.
We can get to if we get all the way to the heat death of the universe.
Well, sure, but the people who are alive then will be really scared, and then they'll all die, and they'll be really sad because they won't.
Fuck them.
Yeah, fair point. Mage, how would you want the world to end?
I said this before. Meteor, quick, and destroy everything.
Okay, we definitely answered this. All right, Gib, just to reiterate.
I want a big space dog to come up and just take a bite out of the earth, and then the core will be exposed, and then it'll crumble and into nothingness.
Okay,
that'll be pretty cool.
Well, fuck you,
Space Dog.
Fuck you, Diploid, for asking an old question and making me read it like an asshole.
Fuck you.
All right.
Nate,
he has a fucking My Hero Academia fucking icon. What a fucking shock.
I have a good question from the Patreon
Typical
lounge.
brainlet. Yeah, okay.
From Happy D says, when you were a child/young adult, did you ever get in any really big fights with your parents or close relatives?
Not generally. One time I kicked Ben in the stomach for no reason, and my dad got really mad. But that wasn't really he just yelled at me for doing that.
I got in screaming matches with my mom a lot.
Yeah.
I was very
about what topic?
Oh,
just everything. We still butt heads to this day. So
yeah, okay.
It's with my family.
I just realized that
I
forgot
non-confrontational, so I never fought with anyone in my family.
All right.
You got it all out on the streets.
That's true.
I am. I didn't talk about this, but like I did have fights with my brothers, like physical fights.
Okay.
And since I was the oldest one, I was kind of always the wrong guy. Even though they would do like the classic little brother thing of being an annoying piece of shit because they knew that if I fought back, they would get me in trouble for sure. Yeah, they do all that stuff, but like, man, I was not a good brother. Sometimes I was kind of terrible and evil.
How so?
I mean, it's not like it was out of nowhere. Like, I wouldn't just come home from school and then punch my brother in the face. It wouldn't be like that. But it would be like, we would be arguing about something and, you know, maybe one of my brothers had a bad day and I'd had a bad day, and then we'd argue about something, and then it would turn into like a scuffle and then a punch and then a throw things across the room and then screaming, and it's like, oh, God. Ooh. Not good.
That sounds hilarious.
I mean, we are like really close now. Because, you know, we're just...
Brothers get close as they get older, I think.
And I think a part of it is because we had fights.
I agree.
If we never talked to each other and we just kept to ourselves, we'd probably be like some of those weird, like, estranged siblings sort of deals where, like, nobody talks to each other. Like, I've seen that in media, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. My brothers and me are fucking tight.
Like, Ben and I fought, and no, I didn't think of this either. Ben and I definitely fought sometimes. We had, like, these trampoline battles where we'd, like, do flips onto each other and stuff. Those are pretty cool.
Oh, that's funny fighting.
Yeah, that's
not, like, rage fighting.
Only once in a while. Like, Ben historically was known, or my sister historically was known to, when aggressed, curl into a ball on the floor and just, like, lie there and attempt to just, like, you know, like, when she did that, like, you couldn't hit her because, like, she's being too pathetic. So you couldn't punch her no matter how bad you wanted to, and I wanted to a lot all the time. You know, it's where my addiction to beating women really kicked into high gear. You know, it's just like, and Ben and I, the thing was, it was mostly passive aggressive in my family. Like, the biggest grievance I have with my family growing up was that, like, I was sad we didn't, like, do more stuff together, and I was, like, lonely in my room. That's, like, my biggest, like, I don't know, thing I didn't like about growing up that I remember the least fondly. Like, I wish we'd gone out and, like, done more stuff together. So, like, would that just create this, like, weird passive aggressiveness of, like, everyone would be in their room and I'd just be, like, lonely, sitting in mine, like, wishing we could, like, hang out and do stuff. But, like, when you're, like, a kid and, like, your older brother is, like, doing his own stuff, it's, you know, it's just, like, of course, he's gonna be hanging out with his friends, not his little brother. That's gay. You know, I'm sure I felt the same way about my little sister, too. So the cycle continues and will continue forever. So, but occasionally, Ben and I would get mad. And I remember running from Ben while he chased me quite a few times. And, you know, just doing whatever I could to avoid this rain of blows.
Imagine that today. Nate running from Ben.
I know. Now Ben has learned to fear me at last. Yeah, that's all I got.
I just remembered talking about the fighting thing. I think I've heard this, again, not confirmed to be true, but little kids don't feel pain quite as much as adults do, because I'm guessing it's because, you know, they're in the stage of, like, learning and whatnot, so, you know, they're supposed to, like, get scuffs and scrapes and whatnot, so pain isn't registered so much, or at least it's not that big of a deal to little kids. That's why I was so maybe that's why I was so rowdy when I was a little kid, because the pain didn't scare me as much.
Mage confirmed for a row.
Listen to this question from AJ Shoop. All right, get ready for this one. Brace for impact. You're fighting a dude/gal who is evenly matched with you, and they straight up poop on their fucking hand, smear it in, and get back into fighting form. Do you continue with the shit show or choose to lose the fight? What do you do?
It depends entirely on the stakes.
The smart man would run, or, like, just no, like, I don't. Okay, like, sometimes it's okay to admit defeat. Yeah. I don't want poopy on my hand. I don't want poopy on my face.
Right.
Get away.
No, sir.
I feel, did this come from personal experience? Is this, like, this is an oddly,
knowing AJ Shoop,
this is an oddly specific question. I'm just saying.
It is quite specific.
I feel like he might be the aggressor in this case as well.
I can say that I would basically do anything to avoid contact. in this situation.
Not let that
I would
happen.
bail.
That is so disgusting. Oh my god.
All right, I now know how to beat all of you in a fight. Noted.
That's true. Like,
I mean, could you live down the fact that you pooped in your hand to win?
Depending on what I needed to get done and how badly I need to beat you, I might have to mistakes.
Do you remember that? This reminds me of it's like a game of chicken. You remember that fight in like the last season of Game of Thrones where Theon like is exerting dominance and like this big other Iron Islands guy, like he's trying to like take over. Theon's trying to become a man at last, and so this guy like punches him. He falls down. He gets back up. The dude's like, "Stay down." Punches him. He falls back down again. Theon gets back up. He won't stay down. He keeps getting up. Imagine if the man had dropped trow, pooped on his hand, and then said, like, "What now, Theon? What now?" Theon would have wilted like a fucking flower, like a flower in winter. But no, he didn't take it to that level. Well, Theon probably would have done that though, because he would do whatever it takes.
He doesn't have much further to fall at this point,
That's true. That's very true. Okay, done with that. Next question. You know what? This is kind of just a public service announcement, actually. Oblivion Fall here. This is, okay. Says, is there a deadline for the PCP intro contest? I've had something written for a while, but I'm having trouble getting musicians together, and Fiverr is giving me trouble with PayPal. I don't want to miss out.
Shit.
This guy's getting serious about this shit.
I feel like if there is a deadline, I want to give him an extension, just because I want to see where this madness leads.
I feel the same way. I don't know. I don't really want to put a deadline into place, but I feel like it would actually be helpful
I feel like
that.
we definitely should put a deadline.
We'll just get but
it shouldn't be soon. It wouldn't be soon.
Maybe like a month.
It wouldn't be
like a month from today.
From now.
Maybe a month from when this episode goes
end
live.
Of the summer. I mean, just have it be like a summer.
End of the summer. I really don't want to make it stretch out too long. Like maybe we could say what if we said the end of July, which is a month and a half basically.
I'm chill with that.
Okay.
That's fair.
All right, guys, you heard it. We are assigning a deadline right now. July 31st is the final date. That is the last day we are accepting applications. If you send something August 1st, it will not be accepted. We will not put it in the ranking. It will not win. July 31st, there's your fucking deadline. It's in stone.
Don't forget to actually post it.
There you go.
Because, some people...
Don't forget to post it. If you send it, if you finished it July 1st, and you forget to send that shit till August 1st,
and don't
you're
forget
banned.
To use the hashtag.
Use that hashtag PCP theme, people. You gotta use that. So
That's how we're looking for them. So if you don't hashtag it, we don't see it.
Nate, That's right. You don't forget to post it on Twitter and stuff because some people
if
might
post it to Twitter hashtag PCP theme. Yeah. You got to do that. You got to get it to us in some way. So I mean, you could email. Don't email me. Give me a link on Twitter. Do that. That's what's helpful. Some people actually did email me links, and I just asked them to post it on Twitter, and then they did. But speaking of which,
all of us can see it.
That's right, and so we can easily use it here. Plus, if you give me an MP3, again, we can't listen to it on the show. You got to give me a link to listen to it so we can all listen on the show. And speaking of which, do we want to do any more questions, or shall we go to our?
I've got a pretty good one.
Okay, let's wrap it up.
By Axoran. What is your favorite anime fight?
Oh, for fuck's sake. That's almost as bad as what's your favorite anime. Rock Lee versus Gaara is a classic.
You might say it's supposed to be that.
I mean, it's not a traditional... I mean, I don't know, the final moment of Gurren Lagann is sort of a battle. That's one of my favorite moments of all time.
Sort of a battle? It's definitely a battle.
I mean, okay, it's definitely a battle, but it's not like a normal, slugfest shonen Naruto-style battle. It's like a mech... doing something at the size of the fucking universe, continually being broken down as a guy keeps plunging forward through these barriers.
Hype as shit.
I mean, it's the coolest thing ever. But I think I'm actually going to say a different one though. It is basically the coolest thing ever. Bellamy versus Luffy in One Piece is definitely one of the greatest. And again, that's also kind of a subversion of a fight, but it is one of the most I've read so many shonen and seen so many shonen fights that the subversion with the Bellamy moment is to this day one of the most amazing moments in all of One Piece. It's unfortunately, no, I'm just going to say that it's one of the best moments ever. That's all. It's great.
I don't like.
I would say
in media, it's not I don't. It's not I'm not against them. It's just
Nate, you've said that yourself multiple times.
No, it's just I don't like. I don't like watching the fights. I don't find them entertaining.
Okay.
I guess that's what I mean.
You want to be there.
Yeah, she's frustrated. She can't actually be killing someone right now.
My brain just starts tuning out. If it drags on for too long, I stop paying attention to what's happening because I don't know why. I just don't. I can't pay attention too long.
You know, Mage, as Tom was saying, I actually sort of agree, because the thing with fights that I always say is that, like, anime fights, or any fights including, like, Game of Thrones, whatever, like, I don't really care, like, about the fight. I care about, like, who has won at the end. That's, like, narratively what matters. It doesn't really matter how they got there. But then, like, fights are just, like, fun in anime a lot of the time.
I'm, like, torn on it, because, like, I definitely like the spectacle pieces of, like really crazy choreographed fights. But at the same time, like, I have, like, a hard limit, you know? Because eventually, like, Dragon Ball Z, I don't know how I made it through Dragon Ball Z as a kid. Like, it's so hard to watch.
How did I? Wow. Sorry, realization
but, like,
that's
what I like
Did
about
you watch
My
all
Hero
Dragon Ball Z,
Academia.
Dragon Ball Z. I cried when they stopped ending it.
Oh, really?
They stopped airing it on TV. I put the date on my phone that I don't have anymore, exactly the date that they stopped airing, and I cried, and I said, every year, I'll cry on this day.
Damn. Dude, that's incredible.
That's hardcore.
That's so anime.
That is so anime.
Yeah.
My favorite anime fight is from Dragon Ball. Tenshinhan, as it's written in the manga
versus
that I have,
Yamcha
instead of versus Goku.
Yeah, okay.
When Tenshinhan was still like a villain, and Goku was a little boy.
Yeah.
That fight between them is like one of the most
I've never seen it or read it. I gotta do that, man.
You gotta read it. It is better than Dragon Ball Z in every way.
Infinitely better than DBZ. Like by
I believe you.
Titanic margin.
Okay, quickly. The thing is, like, with the fights.
Fucking General Blue as well. Holy shit!
I'm gonna Google him. I don't know who it is.
I don't like I said, I don't like watching the fights, but I do like certain fights that like aren't necessarily just pure action. Like they pause and like maybe have a narration of what's going on or something or what it means, what this means, and stuff like that. It's a little hard to explain what exactly.
Do you mean like an ongoing struggle?
I guess kind of like I guess a fight I liked, not necessarily my favorite, but one I can actually remember, was the last few episodes of this anime. Now I don't remember how the anime was called. It was this anime where, like, creations came into the real world and sort of fought the Hatsune Miku of that world.
What? Wait, are you talking about, is that the one with Cyan, the cat girl, you know what I'm talking about? Show by Rock, whatever it is.
No. The anime was like these characters from animes, mangas, and games and stuff like that. They came in. They were brought into the real world, quote unquote.
Is that Gate? Is that the one?
Doesn't sound.
Okay, I don't know. Like, I'm just fucking guessing here. I don't know. I mean, fucking idea.
Yeah, there was the main antagonist was sort of like the representation of Hatsune Miku. Because of the backstories, and a lot of the characters are a resemblance of other anime characters or several anime characters. There was like this little boy that had like a huge mech. It was like a huge mech pilot, and there was this girl with red hair, and she also had a mech, but she came to the world without the mech. And man, it was such a fun anime. It was an original anime as well. It doesn't have a manga, but I think the manga is going to be published. But yeah, it was a really fun.
Okay,
it was
cool.
a really nice anime. I quite liked it. The pacing was a little bit off, but I think it dragged on some places. But yeah, I liked the final battle because in the end, like the Hatsune Miku, she was like all powerful, and it like they tried to defeat her, but like they couldn't, and they tried different ways, and they had all these plans built up, and like the way she got defeated, in a way it felt like a cop-out, but at the same time it felt fitting. And I quite liked it. I liked the whole segment of them fighting against her and losing. And it's just, I don't know, it was neat.
Fucking Hatsune Miku god level power.
That sounds pretty cool.
I want to watch this, whatever it is now. You've intrigued me.
She's a god level meme in real life.
It has my husband in it, so it's like my husband. My guy food.
Hey, I liked episode 3 of Kill La Kill. Satsuki versus Ryuko was one of the.
There are so many good fights. I'm such a sucker for anime fights. They make me so happy.
I mean, they're so good. They're really just the coolest thing ever. It's true.
I guess just some off the top of my head. I really like the ending to Gurren Lagann. G Gundam. That shit was hype as fuck. I love G Gundam. I really like. I mean, I've watched. This is the one I rewatched the most recently. Is the All Might versus Nomu fight from
right
from the first season of My Hero Academia. It's so fucking.
You just
hype.
punched him so many times.
It's
dude.
only 3 minutes. It's 3 minutes, and it's exactly as long as it needs to be. It's so nice.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to rewatch the Frieza fight, it's like 7 hours. You rewatch All Might versus Nomu, it's 3 minutes, and it's fucking tight and works, and it's dope.
Oh, and one last one from me: Bellamy versus Luffy.
Indeed.
In the Jaya arc.
So you agree with me? So that was mine. That's why I said.
Recreators. There we go.
Oh, did you say that?
I did say that exact one. Yes.
Sorry, and guys, Recreators. Right. That's the anime.
Recreators. Oh, okay. I've heard people say that was good. Also, people say that was shit. But
no,
fair enough.
It's good. It has my husband in it, so of course it's good.
So it must be good. Makes sense to me. By the way, I just want to say that when you mentioned that General Blue was like the best fight ever, Gib, I Googled General Blue, and I think that you must definitely be right, because look at this image. Please edit this in, sir. So in the main chat, look at what's happening at this moment between these two heroic characters. This is clearly the best shonen fight of all time. I like where this is going.
This is one of his. I mean, this is when like guns were still useful in Dragon Ball.
Yeah. Would that have killed Goku? Because he's like resistant to bullets.
That's a shotgun to the face. He probably would have been, hurt.
Pull the fucking trigger, General Blue.
No, I'm pretty
I want to see a boy die.
Don't quote me on this.
This is during the Red Ribbon Army arc, right?
Yeah, that's right.
This is the Red Ribbon.
Well, at this point, isn't Goku tanking like rocket launchers? Or
Don't quote me on this, but I think Goku did take like a shotgun to the head, and it hurt him like a pea shooter.
Hurt him.
Oh, you know what? He may have shot it, and then his head was knocked back, and then he moved his head back, like, ow, my nose.
Yeah,
and
like bullets.
What the fuck?
He feels bullets, but it's like when we get smacked.
Don't overanalyze it. Just enjoy it for what it is. This is the greatest image I've ever seen.
This is a serious analysis of this one frame of Dragon Ball episode 240, whatever.
What a fucking badass. I need to go read Dragon Ball. I've been meaning to for like a fucking decade.
All you gotta do is change his hair to brown. It's basically you.
Okay, so moving on from there, we're done with questions. It's time for the PCP theme contest portion of our program here. So, as we said before, hashtag PCP themes. Send us on Twitter using that shit. I mean, that's really the only way that we'll get them. If you're in the fucking Discord, the fan Discord, or the patron Discord, you can submit them there in like the fan art section, but the Twitter is even easier. And you got to give us a link to either a SoundCloud or a YouTube link, and maybe something else, but we can't play anything else on the show. So just SoundCloud or YouTube, please, sir. We got a couple that weren't that, and they had to fix them. So just letting you know. All right. So let's see what we got here. Our first one up here. Let's see who's first. Okay. First is from John J. Renz. This is a theme called "Let's Jack Off." That's the name of it. Wait. Okay. Hang on.
Okay.
Hang on. All right. Pause. And here we fucking hang on, go. Whoa.
Everything's going on to the left. You're betting on left. I'm supposed to be walking right now. I'm supposed to be walking right now. I'm supposed to be walking right now.
This is great.
This is next level shit.
Oh my
God. Jesus Christ.
This art not procrastination. We all know that's the key to creation. Our thoughts for the two spans. So same basic forces come fast. You better take your vices to heart, before you know it, it's just about to start.
I mean, this is pretty great.
I mean, it is.
I feel like
his words like indecipherable.
Oh my God.
Okay, that was incredible, John J. Renzel. But like, I really couldn't fucking tell what you were saying. He did include the lyrics in his SoundCloud link. So if you go to that, here, I'll just paste in the thing here. You can see like what they were. This was clearly like mostly based on. Wait, I pasted in the wrong chat. This is mostly based on the Jesse's theme that he made.
Yeah.
Correct.
I could tell that much.
I mean, that sounded cool. There was a lot going on there, but like the fucking are you a native English speaker,
like
sir?
diddly doodling.
What was that, Gib? What?
I love the you know, the sort of like, you know, what's the word to describe the haphazard piano doodling?
Yeah.
That was great.
I'm kind of at a loss for words after listening to that. That was
much like fighting.
Could you see it as
you can't really respond to that with words. You have to
It's true.
respond to that with action.
It's true.
I mean, could you hear that like being at the beginning of the show? I think I could.
Good question. I mean, that
is pretty good.
I'm leaning towards no personally, only because it's so strange.
I like the music.
Like, it's really,
dude, just like us.
oh my god, it's like perfect and stuff.
I mean, I prefer it to a generic rock beat. It certainly has personality.
I mean, I agree. I agree there
with
for
that.
sure. I'll give you this. It's
I
definitely
can't wait for
better.
the next one to be a generic rock beat.
That's way better than like just one of these like boring like no words. Like there was way more heart in that. But it was like kind of just strange and hard to understand what the hell was going on. And also, I mean, this is totally subjective, but it didn't sound like to me the kind of tone I would want to like kick off a show. That's that is what I have to say about it, I guess. But like none of these are getting like ruled out immediately. We'll like confer on these just as time goes and after we reach the deadline, and we'll like listen back.
When
to
we
them.
get closer to the deadline, we'll be like, so what are the contenders?
Yeah, we'll probably
and
make
we'll,
a final.
we'll go over them.
Yeah. We'll do something where we like talk about like the final ones and review all the finalists and stuff and see what's the best one.
And then completely ignore all of them.
Definitely possible. As just like Digi drops some fire and makes his own theme. Yes. Well, okay. I mean, that's it for that one. Okay, next one is... Where the fuck is it? All right, themes. Here we go. All right, hang on. Okay, here we go. Next theme is from Das Exemptionist Biggles. Oh, he's an exceptionist, like made famous by the PCP in that episode of Pyramid Schemes. Remember that one? I remember that one.
I don't.
Hashtag PC Pyramid Scheme still in effect.
It's still in effect. Still give us all your money. Patreon.com/the Pro Crastinators. Okay, here we go. Okay.
This is an art house.
This is experimental
film. I like it.
Oh, it's called Das Article is the name of the song.
It's German.
Yeah, definitely a German boy.
This...
It's interesting.
Oh, is it already going?
I think it's fading out now, I think. Oh.
No, it's just getting quiet.
Okay, there. All right. It's just getting quiet. That's part of the theme.
Fade into the words, I guess.
Whoa.
Okay.
That was a little scribbly scrabbly for me.
I agree.
It was definitely
a little. Yeah,
like
go on.
Fucking out there, but it also kind of felt PCP-ish to me. Like that.
No, not for an intro to the episode. It's just
I don't
it
know if
doesn't
I'd want to
like
have it
a
as an
punch.
intro, but it definitely. I
Yeah.
felt like it kind of hit on our eclectic.
I feel like all these people having
definitely like that.
interpreting the PCP in music and having their own takes on how the PCP sounds as music.
Me too.
It's really fun.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, this one definitely felt like an arty like noise experimental animation or something.
Yeah.
Like I could see like squares and lines like moving across and going all blippity bloop.
Yeah, definitely. But I generally agree with that. I liked it, but I'm not sure it works as a theme. That's what I'm saying. Okay, let's do one or two more here. One's from @Captain Thought 1, Captain Thought 1, or whatever, Captain Thought. This is one called is called Cursed Video, Cursed Videos. Okay, here we go. Let's see what you got, Captain Thought.
Welcome to the PCP. Grab your boys and grab some beans. Hope nobody interrupts me. Ben is always squeaky clean.
Is that it? Okay.
Just so pretending.
I did like that. Grab some beans. Now here's what I'll say about that. If you mention specific things about like individual members of the PCP, I immediately have a problem if you only mention like two people and nobody else. You know what I mean? It's like I feel like there should either be like group references Or it should be like everyone gets a mention. You know what I mean?
You think of like the anime openings, like you always have all the characters come across with their face at least once, at least a little bit.
That's how I feel about that. Also, that was definitely not hype enough to be an intro theme song. But appreciate the work. Thanks, buddy. Let's see.
Yeah.
Tom, any thoughts?
+1 for bean reference. But yeah, I agree with what you said about it. But I did like beans. Beans are good.
Okay. You know what? There's 3 more. I'm having a great time. Let's just listen to the next 3.
Let's go for it. Let's go for it.
All right. Let me pull this up. Okay. This is from Augie, Maine, and it's called "I Just Wanna Die."
Same.
Oh God, this is a PCP bitch. Theme, not my theme. What the fuck?
Yeah, I know, right? Okay. Here we go. Play now. Okay.
It's like Ape Escape.
Is that what that is?
No, it sounds like an Ape Escape song. Maybe a bit chiller than Ape Escape.
This is quite chilly. Ooh, I gotta put on a sweater. Okay, there it is.
Hilarious.
And then he died.
Then he died at the end. I liked it.
I liked it.
I feel kinship to it.
Yeah. I mean, I liked it, but
it's not hype enough.
The hype, not what I'm looking for. And
that could be like the intro to like, "Hello and welcome to the Suicide Cast."
That's true.
I'd use that as an outro theme for Wine Chamber.
Makes sense. Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, definitely.
I wonder if these guys would mind if we just like use these for other stuff. Probably not. I don't know.
Ask me if that's
the creativity
okay.
Here. Yeah. I mean, I think I said something about like we don't have to use any of these if we don't like them. We should also add a clause like, but we can use them for whatever we want. We own them now.
I did.
If you tweet us with that hashtag,
you signed away all your rights by using the hashtag.
That's right.
They signed their rights away as soon as they opened episode 1. They just haven't realized
That's true.
it yet.
That's definitely true.
I did like that one, but it was more of an outro than an intro. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely thought that was cool and chill.
I like it.
I do like it.
It's
for a theme, for an opening theme.
It sounded like a Steven Universe song playing in the distance.
Whoa.
Yeah, it did.
That is on point.
Yes.
Totally true. You know those meme videos that are like Redbone, but it's playing one room over, and it's all like muffled sounding.
I remember.
It's kind of like that. I love that.
It's like Steven listening in on his dad saying, "I just want to die." Like,
Greg,
Dad, no.
Okay, what do we got here? Another one from Robert J. Lazarus, and this is called PCP Theme RJL. All right, then. Here we go. What do you got for us, Rob? Okay. By the way...
usually wrong about most things.
Wait, what? Did you say Ben's usually wrong about most things? Because if you'll notice, the album cover for this is Ben's face with the words PCP just all around it.
Amazing.
Oh,
amazing.
If you go to the Rowboat Nazi Techno State thing where I'm playing all the bots, you can see the album covers for like each of these. They're pretty. Maybe we should edit these in. I don't know.
I did last time. I'll edit them in.
You did? Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be cool then. This Ben. I really love this Ben face. This whole thing is excellent.
What an expression. What a face of disdain.
I'm not going to bullshit, Rob. That was a little amateurish for a professional operation like the PCP here. We're looking for a little bit higher standards.
I mean, I could tell that was the point. It's just like Ben sucks. Like that was the
yeah.
thing.
I mean, I did love that. Anything that
message
Ben sucks, I'm on
received,
board
man.
with.
Message received.
And agreed with. Heartily agreed with. Okay, and we got one more here, and this guy submitted actually like 36 minutes like after we started recording. This is some cool album cover. It's like, oh fuck, stop. This is like, I mean, you'll see it when I paste it there, but it's like this blue version of the PCP boys. Oh, I think he actually redrew them. Okay, whatever. Let me paste this shit. So this is from Artur, I believe is his name, and this is PCP theme demo. All right, here we go. Begin. Oh. Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
I should be creating something like a procrastinator, but I'm not getting so it's just a waste of time. Could it be better to wait for the release of the key?
Okay. All right.
I did not understand a single word, but
that was hype.
That was hype.
Energy.
I want to go back and look at the words. They're not posted on the SoundCloud, but that was pretty sick.
I like the mixing. I like the voice, how it sounded
me too.
compared to the guitar.
And I like the thumbnail. This guy put some work into this. That was good.
Yeah, if I knew the lyrics, I mean, I don't really care to know what the lyrics are as long as it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I would like them to be like understandable.
Yeah, I'm a lyric.
But he says this is a demo, so he might be able to like make it a better version.
That's true.
If I have any criteria at all for like the opening, what I always look for, like, it wouldn't be startling and it wouldn't hurt people's ears. That's what I usually look for. And this is both
I feel ya.
startling and would probably be a little obnoxious to listen to. I mean, I like the way it sounds, but like, as soon as it starts playing, I feel like if I was a listener, I would just probably want to click away.
We shouldn't forget that the PCP is a cold-blooded capitalist engine. It's a cold machine for profit exclusively. So we're looking to appeal to that mass demographic on a wide audience.
If that's our game plan, we got a lot of adjustments we're gonna need to make.
It's true.
We're gonna have to fire everyone.
All of us will be fired immediately. Only the logo will live on. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I liked it, but I do think. I mean, this is a demo. I don't know. If there was an updated version, I'd definitely like to listen to it.
Maybe I don't know if I'm alone in this, but I would be interested in hearing an instrumental version as well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, my favorite part about this is like the difference between like the guitar and the voices.
They do work well together too. It's like I like it. I'm curious.
It's well produced or whatever the word is.
I want some more development on this. I want some dialogue. I want some refinements. I want the demo dropped and I want the final dropped in, and I want to check back. I want to see how it goes.
I want some diegetic music.
Yeah.
That it's like it's real, and we are singing it every time we record.
It's a catchy melody, and this didn't put much emphasis on the melody, as a hip hopper type track.
It does feel a bit like a digi thing, but like not as digi.
I mean,
not as good.
I don't even mind this. Like, I could see myself using something along these lines, but I don't know.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
That's what I say.
Good.
That's
pretty good. I'll definitely keep this one in mind as we progress.
All right, we got one more.
That was the last one.
That was the last one. All right, we're good. We did.
So we're all done with the fucking PCP themes. So we'll keep them coming, people. July 31st, Harry Potter's birthday. That's on purpose. That's the finale. Voldemort killed Harry on that day. Who will
be the PCP boy who lived? And their theme
exactly. Only one of you get to live. It's the one we choose.
The rest of you are murdered by Voldemort, a.k.a.
A.k.a. Devu.
Mage.
Oh, right, Mage. That's true. All right, well, the last part of our fucking show here is due to the little fan art corner, so let's see what we got here. Let's take a look over at our fucking fan art.
We got a couple good ones. We got this first one by Lynx.
Oh, yes. Now, Devu asked us to read a statement regarding this.
Devu says that this depiction of him is in his like top 20 of like Devu depictions, and he really likes it.
Yeah.
And this art style is cool.
It is pretty
cool. I agree with Devu. It is very fucking sick.
Yeah, it's got a good aesthetic.
I do like it. I do like it.
I like how Munchie's sort of like doing a weird stance and wistfully looking off into the distance.
It feels very album cover.
Oh yeah, it does. Now that you mention it, yeah.
I wonder if it's based on. Oh, maybe not. I love the Kirby face just kind of floating there.
I like how the Kirby face is so happy as opposed to everyone else looking so mellow.
Right, everyone else is very melancholy. That album cover disinterest, don't want to be here, but buy our shit kind of thing.
Gibbs Lion's mane there is looking pretty good as well.
It's pretty dope.
Oh yeah.
It's a 0 out of 10 because I'm not there. So.
Oh no.
All right, what do we got? Now we got one that was like just Munchie, but it was just Munchie, so banned. Remember, people, it's got to be either like if it's one of us, it's got to be PCP related in some way. That's like clearly communicable.
And
like maybe Munchie in like his jester outfit that he wore at his lecture, like that I could see. If it's just Munchie though, we're like, what if we just got all fan art of Digi? Like nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. Or me, or Gib, or anybody. We're PCP themes. That's the thing. But so look at this one from I'm a Big Boy, yeah, Caleb Adams. These are fascinating. So it's me and Munchie drawn individually. Only it's drawn on those like weird like children magnetic filling like draw pads.
I don't know how those work. I don't know whether it's like iron filings. It probably isn't. It's sort of like
I don't know.
You push down and like the contact of the top layer and the bottom layer creates a line.
Yeah. But like you have to like shake the thing to like make him go away or something like that.
Yeah. It's pretty...
I mean,
no. I think what it is, it's one of those like it's like a vacuum almost, and then you like
no, it's not
twist
a vacuum.
knob
They have like
and it lets air
they have
in.
a little handle with the magnet thing, and it wipes it clean. By you squish it down.
Oh,
and
that's
it wipes
right.
It away.
oh yeah.
yeah, I think he's right.
Yeah.
Well, whatever, man. I don't fucking know.
They're
Anyway,
fucking sick.
It's
all
cool.
I know
magnets.
that I'm looking
It's
angry as fuck, probably for excellent reason. Someone has wronged me this day. Maybe Ben looked at me and he challenged my authority. I have to
The
destroy
fact
him.
that he drew both you and Munchie, it seems to be like you got mad at Munchie and then crucified
I
him.
crucified.
Now he's dead.
I think Munchie crucified himself to save us all. That's what I think happened
I like
here.
how
No, it's-
like square and like it's all sharp and pointy your images, but like Munchie's like a soft round boy.
Munchie's just all wiggly wobbly. Yeah,
I think
his
this
arm
is
on the
this
left
is
side.
an angry, distraught Nate looking at his life companion. Munchie J. Trump on the cross, and
He's been sacrificed.
he's put his shades on to hide his single tear of regret.
You're
at the
probably right.
sacrifice.
You're probably right.
I've
And
painted
again, I
a
just
narrative
love
here.
The fucking Gesamtkunstwerk of Munchie crucified on the cross with that happy smiling Kirby shirt is truly transcendent. I absolutely love it.
It literally is.
Well, team, I think we've reached the end of our show for today. Hope you had a heck of a time. And remember, everybody, patreon.com/theprocrastinators. $1.
Keep fighting the good fight.
Fighting
on.
by giving us money.
Fight on, Fighto,
Fighto.
Japan anime, do that. Please give us money. $1 and you're in our fucking Discord with all the cool guys. That's a good place to be. You get the TPC feed, which is an extremely convenient way to keep track of everybody's posts in the PCP. It's actually like the best way to do it, in my opinion.
Except for me, because I'm still not on there. But everybody
You're
else
not on
is
it?
good. No.
Well, tell fucking who is it? Vindy or I don't know.
I have
Steel
nothing's
Viper.
changed, but that's okay. We'll get it someday.
One of these days. And let me see. What else the fuck is it? Oh, a $5 pledge. You get access to all bonus episodes. There are like 15 of those motherfuckers out now, and they're all gold.
The last one
They're
by
all
Devu
delicious.
was
Last one,
very
sitcoms.
well edited.
It was incredible. It was the best one. The best episode of the PCP, basically, in terms of editing, for sure.
Yeah.
Devu
It's hard
went
to deny
crazy.
that.
He edited like a sitcom.
It was so good.
there's
It was so good.
audience laughter and all that cool stuff.
Oh, God, what a great job he did. Beyond that, follow us at TB Crastinators on Twitter. Send us those hashtag PCP themes, people, before July 1st, and a hashtag hashtag PCP fan art for the art stuff so we can show off more of that shit. And that's it. Thanks for joining. See you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I'm supposed to be working right now. I'm supposed to